on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, and Paul Coleman going to be up at a broadcast booth tonight, guys. 101 laps around the Chevy Silverados to kick off this 24-race season, and no better way to get it done under the lights.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race tonight here. I've been here with these guys for the past 2 weeks during their what we'll call Daytona Speed Weeks here, and watching them with their practices and their practice races and their qualifying races. It's been an exciting week. Past 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, and I just know the excitement is getting ramped up in these drivers. They cannot wait to get back here on the track. They've been sitting here idle for the past couple of months. We ran a couple of small summer series, but these guys are chomping at the bit, ready to rock and roll.
And like we said, we get it kicked off. It is going to be the trucks at Daytona, and there are going to be 5 primary vehicles that will be seen throughout this 24-race season, which does include a 5-race chase for the championship when it all comes down to it later on. But we're going to be seeing super late models, Indy cars, the Gen 6, the Nationwide, and also the trucks that we're seeing tonight throughout this season. I want to bring Paul Coleman into the discussion now. Paul, these guys have to roll through what is going to be a 19-race regular season to put themselves inside the top 10 to be in contention for that championship, and it's not easy coming out here, and they're going to have to be balancing 5 different race cars. What would that affect you as a driver having to swap between those cars week in and week out?
As a driver, you get so used to one of the types of cars, be it trucks, street stocks, whatever. They all handle a little differently, so it's really difficult for these guys, because once they get to that 3rd race and they just get a handle on the car, it's now time to learn a completely different car. And that's what makes the series great, because it's almost like the NASCAR chase. It resets after 3 races, so if somebody's locked in, they're not locked in for a while, it resets and puts everybody back on the same plan.
So about halfway through our 10-minute closed qualifying session, so those guys got to go out there, they got to put 2 of their best laps down, and looking like we got a fair amount, about a full field, I would say, full of entries. We saw 36 cars in the practice session. 35 of them took time. So far, 32 cars putting down times, and right now it is Dominic Dyball on the provisional pole. Still about 5 minutes left to go, but Carl, very familiar with you in the CORA racing. What are some of the guys that we need to look for that tend to be strong on these super speedways?
Well, like I said, I've been here for the past 2 weeks watching these guys. One of the teams that's going to be really strong out here is going to be the team with Dominic Dyball, and we got Brandon Cruz Monsivice and Joel Wood. These guys are going to be really strong out here in Woodrinch Motorsports. They have been pretty much the fastest and the class of the field here for the past 2 weeks. We have other drivers like David Wink and Everett Lane. They're going to be making strong showings tonight. Don Stevenson, he's going to be another one that's going to be making a strong showing tonight. I think we're also going to see some people like Gordon Berkey. They're going to be sneaking their way up through the field. This is just a lot of the drivers came back. They have a few new ones out here, but there's a lot of old faces that's been around CORA for a long time. James Brown, he's back there in the back starting tonight, but you watch out for tonight for him be coming up towards the front. It's gonna be a very exciting race. I have a funny feeling we're gonna be in for a big surprise by the end of the night.
In Daytona, these super speedway racetracks are always very unpredictable, but this race length being 101 laps in length is going to be a 253-mile event. Tonight's title sponsor going to be the WW Trucking 253 at Daytona. Let's talk some quick track facts, guys, about this racetrack located in Daytona Beach, Florida. A capacity crowd of 147,000 race fans can pack in here on every given race weekend to take in the action. Owned and operated by the ISC, International Speedway Corporation. This track broke ground back in 1957, opened 2 years later in 1959 for construction cost of about $3 million. The track itself is an asphalt surface, 2.5 miles in length with 4 turns banked at 31 degrees, 18 degrees in the trial with that start-finish line centered in that, 2 degrees of banking down the back straightaway, so nothing real crazy down the back there. But, Paul, this is a 101-lap race, so you can't just go out there, pin the gas, and hope you win it on those opening laps. You're going to have to incorporate, to some extent, some strategy in this, but even through all that end of the race will always tend to be a shootout.
Absolutely. You mentioned you can't win it on the first lap, but you certainly can lose it on the first lap. We've seen many drivers try to be a little too aggressive at the start, trying to work their way up. I believe we have a field of at least 34, maybe a little bit more drivers than that. So you're going to have to be somewhat aggressive because it's not the full 500 miles. It's 101 laps or 252.5 miles. So you're going to have to use strategy, move your way through the field, but also at the same time, be very, very, very careful. Strategy is going to work key when you do pit stops.
And we're going to now throw it down trackside as we close in on the drop of green flag for pre-race ceremonies. Just a few moments left in the qualifying session as the clock ticks down to we get our final starting order for tonight's opening race with the CORA Sunday Money Racing Series Championship Online Racing Association, the WW Trucking 253 at Daytona to kick off a 24-race season that is sure to not only bring the excitement, the drama that has come to expect it and that we have seen over the past seasons with CORA. But guys, we're getting set to come down to this. Final thoughts before we run these guys down through the grid. What's your mindset coming into this one, Carl?
I'm not sure, man. I'm just all I know is I'm excited to watch to be here tonight and to be able to watch these guys. We're going to be looking for these guys to be hooking up here and doing a lot of drafting. I think we're going to see a lot of single file stuff here at the beginning of the race, being that it's such a long race. So, like I said, I think the secret tonight is going to be to find yourself the best dancing partner you could possibly get and stick with him the entire night.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to establish that partnership rather early, though, and be loyal to your partner to have somebody there for you at the end.
So qualifying has officially come to a close now, and the field begins to line up down on pit road. So we're going to run you down through what appears to be our 36-car field. We'll go 5 at a time, starting with pole position. The number 15 machine, that's going to be Dominic Dyball on pole position at 50.306, gets in the top spot. Everett Lane going to be starting second spot outside that front row in the number 24 machine. How about David Wink going to be starting inside second row? That's third spot for the number 20 Chevrolet. The 47 Don Stevenson will start fourth. And Bruce Bouchard, the 11 machine, is going to start fifth, Carl.
And the number 9 machine, starting in sixth position, is going to be Alan Larson. The 35 of Nathan Selleck's going to be on his outside. We're going to have Mitchell Reeves. He's going to be starting in the number 8 position in the number 2 truck. We have Ryan Borges in the number 30 truck starting in the 9th position. And in the 10th position, we have Eric Sharp in the 86 truck.
And in 11th place, we have the number 64, Jonathan Taylor, who put in the same exact time as Eric Sharp there. The 88 of Michael Jerdsma, I believe that is.
Churchma.
The 13, the 01 of John Pensuela. In 14th, the 25 of Jeffrey Smith. And in 15th, the 79 of Joel Wood.
Gordon Berkey, the number 37 machine, is going to be starting in 16th. George Bark, one more spot back. He's the inside of the next row. The number 42 machine will start in 17th. John Larson, the number 98 Chevrolet, going to be starting in 18th. Phil Gary inside on row 10. The number 68 machine is going to take up P19. And Jeremy Crandall going to be on the outside of that row. 73 car rounds out the top 20.
21st position is going to be the 26th truck of Marcus Babbs. Then we got Patrick Scahill. He's going to be bringing in the 22nd position in the 60 car. We have the number 5 of Watson Campbell. He's going to be rolling up there in the 23rd position. In the 5 truck, we have Jason McMahon in the 92. The 51 of Nicholas Doucette is going to be rolling off in the 25th position in the 51 truck.
As the back of the field rolls down pit lane, in 26th, the 62 of Michael D'Amico. The 48 of Mark McFadden starts 27th. The 28 of Michael Whitlock is in 28th place. The 95 of Dale Adkins is in 29th. And in 30th is the 00 of James O. Brown.
It's the Rue Motorsports Chevrolet of Garrett Atwell. Recently, that team announcing that they're going to be actually having a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series program with Garrett's teammate Scott Saunders going to be piloting that machine in 2015. So he rolls his Rue Motorsports Chevrolet off 31st position. Martin Porter going to be starting in 32nd. There is Scott Saunders right behind him, going to be driving that Camping World Truck Series ride in 1 year's time. He'll be starting 33rd. Bob Lutz going to be starting in 34th, the last car to put down a time in the qualifying session. The 54 of Brandon Mulsey going to be starting 35th, and Tim Johnstone going to be the last car scheduled to start in what is going to be position number 36. We do have a couple of cars starting from pit lane. Some of our top runners, Everett Lane on pit road, George Bark starting from pit road, and Jeremy Crandall. So some of our top guys, 3 of them, are going to be starting down on pit road. Do you guys like that strategy?
There, Carl?
Well, starting on pit road, well, this is Daytona. Anything can happen here at Daytona. I mean, these guys are going to be, as long as they're able to get it and not go that lap down, that's one thing you do not want to do. You want to, hopefully you have a drafting partner going to be out there with you, and you'd be able to draft back up to this field. But it will keep you out of the big one if there's a big one that happens early out of this race, because these guys are fresh. These guys are coming out here. The nerves are high, and we're getting ready to take the green.
The pace car is down, the green flag flies, and the CORA Sunday Muddy Racing Series back underway as Dominic Dyball leads us to the green flag, and side by side all throughout this pack, as you mentioned, Carl, the possibility of a big one is always there, but it's most prevalent when these guys are so packly tight together. The top 30 within 2/100ths of a second at each other at the start-finish line. It's the outside lane, however, in 1 and 2. It's the run with David Wink in the 11 machine of Bruce Bouchard.
Yeah, Bruce Bouchard got in behind him, gave him a really good push out here into the lead. David Wink takes that early lead. Looks like Dominic Dyball is going to stay down here on the bottom lane, and he's going to be getting pushed.
Paul, you've been taking it on the back half of this field. How are they doing as we stretch this green flag out down at quarter number 2?
The back of the field, actually, really awesome in line. They've gotten single file the back half of the field. They're doing getting really smart there, just hooking up and playing it very safe.
So the first time by the start-finish line, it is going to be the number 20 of David Wink, who qualified in 3rd. He'll lead that lap. He has help from the 11 machine. Again, that is Bruce Bouchard. He's going to be working with him. The next tandem is Dominic Dyball, who started on pole. He's going to have help. The 47, Don Stevenson, going to be behind him. That's for P4. And our in-race reporter, Alan Larson, we'll try to talk to him here later on in the race. He sits 5th right now. His drafting partner, the 2 of Mitchell Reeves, but they have some company up top. The 35 of Nathan Senlak going with his teammate, Ryan Borges.
I know Dominic right now, he's probably looking in his rearview mirror trying to see if he can find his buddy there in the number 79 truck of Joel Wood. We have 2 cars off the track into the wall.
Trying to get a number on those cars, but we got 2 trucks out into the outside wall trying to get a number on who they are. We stay green, I do believe, for the moment, as everybody's able to scatter, get around that, and looks like for the most part everybody is able to get away, no incidents. Here in the number 25 car of Jeremy Smith. He is slow. That's a fast lane racing Chevrolet entry, and he had a bad lick. It looks like it was the 42. Is that the 92 car? The 92 got up into him, and a hard lick into the inside wall. Jeffrey Smith went up and over. Replay going up now. That was Jonathan McMinn who caught him, the number 92 car. Both of those trucks down was pretty heavy damage. However, because they were down on that apron, the green flag stays out, Paul.
Yeah, I was just looking at the replay of that as well, trying to figure out who was at fault. It looks like that 42 is done for the night. Unfortunate.
So early trouble. Everett Lane now passes his beaten and battered teammate as Jeffrey Smith will, I do believe, go a lap down. He has a lot of damage, running only about 150 miles an hour by himself. So that truck obviously significantly off pace. The update on our drivers that started from pit road, that includes Everett Lane, George Bark, and Jeremy Crandall. Now I have to tell you, the 73 and the 42 of Crandall and Bark, that is a dominant two-car tandem. If those guys get together, they are hooked up. They started from pit road. They sit 26 seconds out of it, so not an immediate threat to anybody right now. They need to stay hooked up, guys, if they want to stay on the lead lap. The car I'm worried about is if we stay green. Everett Lane was the odd one out on that, Carl. He doesn't have a drafting partner. He's already 28 seconds back. If we get a good green flag run, and that 24 car can go a lap down.
Yeah, Everett Lane, he's sitting back here. He is 28 seconds off the pace right now. He is actually a few seconds even back from George Barks. He is not even going to be getting a sniff of any kind of a draft. And it's not going to take him long before
No, he is way off pace.
Yeah, he's way off pace. He may be looking to see if he can get in contact with his partner who is just spun there, because he will be able to get in and get a reset and get back out here on the track. So maybe he's going to see if he can get in contact with him. And I don't know what he's thinking, but I do know right now that here comes the field behind him. They are not far back there. If you look off of his back bumper, you can see them coming off of turn number 2 there as he's going into turn 3. So he's in danger of going a lap down soon.
And he is real slow. Field is going to be catching on him fairly quickly here. He's only going about 140 miles an hour, and not sure what the reason behind that is, but he's going to pull to pit, or down to the apron rather. The field obviously going to go by right now on the outside. So that will put Everett Lane one lap down, but Paulie's still kind of searching in that 130 to 140 mile per hour range. It doesn't appear to be any damage on that truck. I looked to see if maybe he caught the wall or anything. Haven't seen anything like that, so not too sure what the deal is going on right now with Everett Lane. He has lost his lap. You guys talked about maybe trying to catch up with his teammate. I don't see his teammate anywhere near him, as his teammate who caught the wall early on in the going is still trying to get some damage repair. That would be Jeffrey Smith.
Yeah, that's correct. That would have been the initial thought, to hook up with his teammate, but or either that or take the back of the lead draft. But he's still he's cranked it up now to 160, as it looks like his teammate is kind of finally approaching now. So that, I think you were correct. That was the plan. Hook up with the teammate. He is the first car one lap down, so he should be eligible for the lucky dog. And it's much better to run and get their practice with your teammate than running by yourself.
So an interesting strategy call, to say the least, is going to put him one lap down. And again, it is his teammate who is the only other car, or truck I should say, that is off the lead lap. So they'll both be in the battle for the lucky dog spot. Actually, Everett Lane is hooked up with the number 92 car. So Everett Lane getting hooked up with the Chevrolet of Jonathan McMinn, not his direct teammate, Jeffrey Smith.
That would actually maybe be a safer play due to the fact that Jonathan McMinn is 2 laps down, so there is actually no battle for the lucky dog spot there. He would be safe to still hold that spot.
Back up here in the front of the field, though, we're still seeing David Wink being pushed by Bouchard. Bouchard's been pushing him right along here ever since the drop of the green flag. I haven't even seen him make a change yet. Dominic Dieball, he's running in 3rd position. Don Stevenson in the 4th position. Alan Larson has made his way up into the 5th position. He's running very strong tonight.
And there's that single file line that you predicted, Carl. You said that it is a long race. You think these guys are going to take it easy, and that does appear to be what they are doing at this point. We have a little bit of side-by-side back in the pack, but that's just a couple of tandems working around each other. This lead draft of cars, the lead single file line, I want to say is a handful of cars. Trying to get a number on that. It looks like the first 10 cars possibly. I see John Pansula's in that mix as well. Looks like 14 cars in the lead draft. There's a secondary pack about 2 seconds back. That contains about 6 more trucks as well. So all these guys still well within reach of our race leaders. But again, still very early on. And I think, Paul, that these guys are taking the right approach to this race, that they have to, knowing that It is a long wait. They battled it out a little bit at the start. Those guys that wanted to make a quick move, gain some spots, they did that. And now they're in riding mode. They're just trying to knock off laps. Again, still not even a tenth of the way through this thing, as one car is going to get kicked out of line and be forced to the outside. Looks like it's Nick Doucette in the Tracker Boat Chevrolet is going to get forced up to the high side. 26 and Michael Whitlock goes low, and that 51 truck's going to slide back a couple spots. He's around P20.
Yeah, I just want to try the bow on the Everett Lane, Jonathan McMinn thing. They are now running laps as fast as the leaders back there, one lap down. They blew by that combination of Tim Johnstone and Brandon Cruz like they were dead in the water. So that might be some strategy and a tandem to look forward to later in the race.
I'll tell you, one of the drivers that you hit on here a little bit ago is Nicholas Doucette. He's the youngest driver in the field at 10 years old, out here running with these big boys. And I can't say last season, but the season before last, when Nicholas was out here, he was only 12 years old, and he was one of the drivers out there that you really wanted to watch. He was a really good driver. He drove up in the front of the pack all the time, and doing really well tonight. He is back here around the 22nd position. Give him a chance. I think we'll see him as one of the drivers that is going to be looking to get to the front of this field tonight.
So an update on where everybody is running. We still have 33 trucks on the lead lap. The last pair of them that are on the lead lap is the combo of George Bark and Jeremy Crandall. Talked about them getting hooked up. They both started on pit road. Everett Lane had dropped back. He goes one lap down to catch up and draft now with the 92 truck. That's Jonathan McMinn. So Everett Lane and Jeffrey Smith are the only two trucks one lap down. Right now, Everett would be in the lucky dog spot. He is the first car one lap down, and then Jonathan McMinn, the 92, who was in that incident we saw at quarter number 4 and hooked. I believe he was the one that actually hooked that 25 car, 25 and up and over. Jonathan kind of drove to the grass, had to come down for repairs, serve some penalties. He is the one that is 2 down. So 33 of the 36 trucks, though, that are in action right now, still on the racetrack, and it's heating up front because Nathan Sedlak and Ryan Borges have had enough. Riding in line, they go to the outside lane, and we're starting to form double file because a couple more cars stepping out of line. The 64 car wants some of that. The 2 of Mitchell Reeves as well. And it's going to be nose-to-nose for the top spots. The outside lane hooked up. Inside is not pushing, so they're going to be side-by-side as they go 3 wide around lap traffic.
Nathan Sedlak, last year's champion in the D&K Trucking, pulls that thing out to the lead here, being pushed strongly right now by the... excuse me there, sorry about that, by Ryan Borges. Ryan Borges is going to go ahead and push him out to the lead, and he's going to go ahead and make his way around, and he's going to take the lead himself.
And that swap between that top pair, Paul, is going to force that tandem back up to the outside lane, but I think they're going to have an advantage because the inside not necessarily pushing all the way around. The 20 car wants to change that. David Wink gets up to the back bumper of Bruce Bouchard. They try to push, but that outside lane now 4 trucks strong, 2 sets of tandems up there. We talked about the 32 of Borges and the 35 of Sedlak, and now those 2 more trucks that have showed up in the mix is going to be the 64 car of Jonathan Taylor and the 2 of Mitchell Reeves into the mix as well. Outside lane has the advantage. It's going to be Borges at the stripe.
Absolutely, Ryan Borges there to lead his first lap with his teammate. If those 2 guys can get clear there, they're going to come down just as I thought. And now that outside lane, you're going to see those guys fall back, but Ryan Borges at the point.
And what that outside lane would have to do if they want to make up the ground that we saw Borges and Sedlak do is they would have to push. And that 2 car right now, Mitchell Reeves and his truck, he's just too far back. He's now going to get up to the back bumper of Jonathan Taylor's Chevrolet, but at that point they've already slid back to about 7th deep in line. So they really need to mount some sort of a big charge here, Carl. Otherwise they're going to drop backwards. Meanwhile, is it any surprise that Borges and Sedlak have got up front? Those are 2 very strong teammates. They qualified up front, and I don't think anybody's surprised to see them leading the race at this point.
Oh, absolutely not, especially, like I said, Nathan Sedlak, he is last year's champion. You don't become champion of CORA just by accident. You work hard, and you have to be able to wheel these vehicles around these racetracks, and Nathan Sedlak is one of the best out here at doing that. He's an excellent driver. And Ryan Borges, in his own right, very, very strong driver, and them 2 teamed up together could be the spoiler tonight because they look very, very strong coming up that outside like that. Like you said, they were pushing hard, which is exactly what you have to do on the outside there to make that kind of pass work. But the reason it does work is because you're actually getting a little bit more momentum coming up off of those turns there, and you're able to make those passes coming down the straightaway.
How about an update on some cars back here in the pack? Let's take a look at positions 23rd on back. There are 3 teammate trucks right there. You got the 49 of Scott Saunders. You have the 19 of Garrett Atwell. And you also have the 8 machine of Martin Porter. All those trucks, again, representing that Rue Motorsports gang that we talked about. I always say that Garrett Atwell, who drives the number 19 car, guys, we have to put him in the 2 because every time he goes to the race, he's texting me photos from inside the cockpit. A little bit of reminiscent of Brad Keselowski. But just an update on Garrett. He's running right now P23 with his teammates. They've dropped about 7 seconds off of the lead draft as we run right now. Update on those guys on the outside lane. The 64 of Jonathan Taylor still leads that charge, trying to get a little bit of a push from that 2 of Mitchell Reeves. They have been unable to really hook up and get that big run that they need, and they're slowly sliding back in line. There's one more car out there on the outside lane as well with them maybe thinking about it, trying to get a number on that truck as they run and go past the start-finish line. I believe it's the 01 machine. That's John Pansula not pushing. And again, we kind of return to that single file line up at the front on that inside lane. It is Ryan Borges, P1. Update on our pole sitter, Dominic Dyball. He's 5th down on that inside line, Paul.
Yeah, I was just reminiscing a little bit, thinking about how difficult it is to actually draft and push vehicles in these things, and I think that's the problem that's happening with the outside line. If you have drivers that are unfamiliar with each other, it isn't quite like the nationwide cars that suck up beautifully. And you might be able to explain, Evan, as a Truck Series driver part-time, how that actually comes together with the truss. And we got a spin there between the 88.
Trouble for the 88 of Michael Churchma down the front straightaway. He's around and hard into the inside wall in his Storm Motorsports machine. Caution flag will now fly. Believe it is going to be for his machine. Don't see any other issues on the track. So Michael Churchma, that's not the first time, guys, that we've seen somebody get turned off the corner, and it looked like him and the 64 car just drifted into each other. 88 went high a little bit as he traced the line of the 9 car in front of him. That's Alan Larson. 64 car came down as they were sliding back at the outside. As replay goes up now, trying to pinch him down, get that side draft. 88 truck just got turned around and locked him up, but went nose first into the inside wall. Caution flag will fly. He still has his engine, which is always good news, so he's able to bring it back down to pit road and get repairs. But this is going to be our first break in the action, and I'll get some quick reactions from both of you guys, starting with Carl. How do you guys think the beginning of this race has gone? I think it's pretty much what we were expecting. I mean, we've seen that single file. The guys know that they need to ride wrong, but we have also seen, and it's very important, that teammates, and as Paul said, teammates, you know how they drive, you know how to push with them, are really starting to rise at the front of this field.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that one of the people right now who's taking a big sigh of relief right now, I believe, is going to be the 24 truck there of Everett Lane. He's going to be able to get his lap back now on this here. He was the first car lap down, I do believe, and he's going to be getting his lap back and getting back on the lead lap here and able to get back up here and run with these leaders. He is a very fast truck. I'm really still trying to figure out exactly what he was doing there at the beginning of the race. I'd never seen anything like that before, especially at a super speedway. Why you'd want to go, why you'd voluntarily, basically is what it looked like, go that lap down, I don't understand. But he is back. He's going to be getting back on the lead lap here, and like I said, he'll be getting back up here with these leaders, and we'll see just how strong Everett Lane can be in that 24 truck.
I'll have to say one thing, though, that was definitely a unique move by Everett Lane, but I think you might see that pay off later in this race. He's established himself a good drafting partner, somebody that he's able to go fast with, and getting to become comfortable with somebody without a lot of cars around, that may come in huge later in the race.
So the field rounds through corners number 3 now off of 4. They have grouped back up behind the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, and now we look to pit road for pit stops. And do we see them? The 32 is going to bring down the field, and do anticipate the majority of our leaders. One car staying out, Alan Larson. In race reporter, we'll try to get a word with him on that. He stays out. It looks like pretty much all of our other leaders, every other truck down pit road, excluding some lap cars, going to be coming down pit road. Let's keep an eye on Ryan Borges. He's the first truck in. He was race leader. He's going to go for right side tires on his Chevrolet. Obviously going to be filling up with fuel. It's a 2-tire call and gone for Ryan Borges. Looks like that may be what the majority of the field is doing as he leads them off, guys.
Looks like Bruce Bouchard's going to lose a number of positions out here. He came in 4th position, and he's going to be going out way back there. He took 4 tires. He was one of the only trucks I've seen that did take 4 tires, and that did cost him dearly. He is going to be dropping way back in the field after that.
And this being the not only the Daytona Super Speedway track, the plate track, where tires are not of that great importance. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that 4-tire call? Because it seemed like all the other drivers were pretty much in agreement 2 was the way to go.
He may have been needing some adjustments on that truck. He might have been a little bit too... I haven't really been paying too much attention to how he's been doing on the track. He might have been a little bit too tight, a little bit too loose. They might have had to make some adjustments on the truck. So they just figure, go ahead and throw 4 tires on it, maybe do some tire pressure changes. I don't know. It may be a good call. We'll have to see here. Still early.
I personally like that call. You get yourself 4 fresh tires, you have better handling, and if you can do this race on one more stop, maybe you just go and throw 2 right sides on and a green when the rest of the field will have to put 4 tires on. I don't think you can go a full 101 laps on one set of tires.
So strategy is in abundance, and the 92 of Jonathan McMinn, he tried to stay out in hopes of that all the lead lap cars would come down pit road to get his wave around. He's the second in line right now. And again, we say that because it is the number 9 of Alan Larson, who has not come down pit road at this point. And Alan's going to stay out once again. Update on that caution again. It was thrown by race control, possibly for that incident that we saw down at a quarter number 4 that would not have triggered the automatic caution from iRacing. But Alan's going to stay out, guys. This is going to put him on a completely different fuel strategy than everybody else, and we'll try to grab him on the radio, get a quick update on him as far as what kind of strategy he's running with that, as he's going to be our in-race reporter for the night. So as we work on queuing him up on the radio, we'll try to catch a word with him right now. We'll drag him up here into the booth. Alan Larson, you got a copy on the radio?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, Alan, you guys started off the race good. You qualified in 6th position. You're up there right now in P1. Did not come down pit road. What's the strategy idea behind that one?
Well, we've only run 20 laps under green. These trucks will run about 40. I figure I'm only about halfway to a pit stop, and I'm thinking that there's probably going to be a few more cautions here, or at least I'm hoping, and just trying to, get this Napa Silverado out front for a little while and see if we can compete with these guys.
Obviously the first race, no better way to kick it off than going to victory lane. Alan, that incident there that evidently brought out the caution at a 4 happened right behind you. Did you see anything from your cockpit that might have told you what happened there when that went down?
No, I sure didn't. I was concentrating on what was going on ahead of me. I looked up and the 88 was gone, so I have no idea what happened.
All right, we're going to be P1. Good luck here, and we'll try to talk to you later on.
Okay, good broadcast, guys.
It's interesting strategy. He says he can go 40 laps. Well, everybody else seemed to pit on 20 laps. So if you can go 40 laps on a tank of gas, then I think a lot of these guys really only have one more stop. And so with Alan needing to have 2 stops, I don't know if this strategy is going to play out or not.
I don't know. I think the strategy's going to work out good. He's just going to stick to whatever he had planned here at the beginning of the race. I'm sure he was looking at going to lap 40, whether it go green or whether it comes under yellow, obviously, because that's exactly what he did. He just kept it out there on the racetrack. I don't think it's going to make too awful much of a difference. He's going to be a little bit lighter out there, so maybe he'd be a little bit faster. Who knows?
Absolutely, and to your point, being out front, guaranteed you're not going to get yourself messed up in anybody's accidents, as we have the 92, 73, and 42 all making last second stops here in pit lane to get their trucks full of fuel to make it maybe only on one more stop.
Looks like Jonathan Taylor's going to get the EOL there. He's going to be put back to the back of the pack after causing that spin there on the racetrack with Michael Churchman. So the Jonathan Taylor machine will be headed to the back of the field.
The race control has deemed him the cause of the caution. So as you said, he will receive an EOL, end of longest line penalty. He'll have to line up all the way at the back, behind the lead lap cars, behind the lap cars. There are 2 cars that will remain 1 lap down, going to be Jonathan McMinn and Jeffrey Smith. Both of those trucks will be 2 laps down as we run right now. And again, we talked to Alan there under the caution, guys, and he said that he's hoping for a yellow because he's halfway through the fuel run. The only issue I would see with that is if he doesn't get that yellow, there's nobody else on the same strategy with him. So pitting here, especially green flag pitting, you're going to need a partner once you get off pit road and once it all cycles through, or you'll get left by those guys that come down in big packs. We're going to have to see how this one shakes out. Going to be a lap 23 at a 101 lap restart. Alan Larson going to be in control of the 32 of Ryan Borges up top. Expect to see him trying to get hooked up with the number 15 of Dominic Dieball. They have another teammate up in this mix. Looks like the 35 car of Nathan Sedlak. You talked about him, defending series champion, going to be restarting in the number 6 spot. But yeah, racing Ford first Mustang pace car gets set to dive down to the safety of pit road and get this thing back under green flag conditions. Pace car is off, 9 car in control of the field. Green flag flies back underway at Daytona.
Dominic Dieball is going to get right on that rear bumper there of Alan Larson. He's going to hurry up and try to give him a quick push out and get past this outside line. Don't see the outside line quite hooking up yet, but Dominic Dieball is hard on that back bumper of Alan Larson, pushing him out into the lead.
And that 32 can't get immediately with Borges because here comes the 3. How about Bob Lutz after starting this race, guys? 34th position. Moves himself at another 3 spot, and now trouble back in the pack. Caution flag is going to fly. The 26 of Marcus Babb is around. That National Guard machine is into the outside wall. Caution flag will fly, and it's going to be the incident between him and the number 88 machine involved in that as well. The 88 car making contact down the back. That's Michael Churchma.
Michael Churchma once again not having any luck out here tonight. This will be the second time that he has had some problems out here on the racetrack, this time involving also the 26 car of Marcus Babb. Marcus Babb getting some extensive damage there to the front and back of the truck. Looks like he bounced it off the wall, plus bounced it off a couple other trucks as they were trying to scramble and get around him.
And it looked like bump drafting gone wrong, Paul. The 26 was up high. The 88 wanted to go push with them, and little did he know that the intentions of that number 26 truck were to dive down in line. So Marcus went to pull him behind the number 98 machine of John Larson, and when he did so, the 88 was still trying to keep on his back bumper and caught him in the right rear. They spun around, and the 88 to 26 is going to get the brunt of that. Looks like a couple of other trucks. Wow, the 24 truck guy's going to get some damage from that one as well. That is going to be Everett Lane, Fast Lane Racing Chevrolet, picking up damage on that as well. A couple of the trucks are going to get some minor damage. Looks like the 62 may have caught a piece of it. The 95 may have caught a piece of it, but a lot of cars junked. Actually, that 24 car got junked because Jeffrey Smith, his teammate, plowed into him, got some more damage. Jeremy Crandall beat up as well, along with George Bark. So that incident proves to be a lot more costly than it first looked.
Absolutely, and that goes to a couple points that I made right before the first caution. Remember I said, talking about having that trust in bump drafting. Obviously right there, that was bump drafting, as you said, gone wrong. Definitely you want to be able to bump draft with somebody you trust, and you need to be able to at least have some communication, be in the same room, be able to talk to the person you're drafting with, so you know their intentions, and then also just being those people that had strategy. Jeremy Crandall on back there, they were in the back of the pack. They decided to take that strategy by adding some extra gas, put themselves in the back of the field, and it did not pay off.
So we are closing in now, and this lap will mark the quarter distance mark as that number 25 is started by race leader now, the number 9 of Alan Larson. He started 6th. He's at the top of the board right now. Going to step away for our first trip to a commercial break. When we come back, more Sunday Money Racing on LSRTV. Back live at the Daytona International Speedway, CORA Championship Online Racing Association at a Sunday Monday Series, live and back at action on LSRTV. Evan Prosocco, Carl Jones, Paul Coleman up in the broadcast booth. With you as always, Laura Lawson down the production hauler, pushing all the buttons and getting us on air. Guys, we're doubling up. We get the one to go. Going to be a restart with 28 laps in to this 101 lap affair. I have to say my OCD is not happy about that, but it is the WW Trucking 253 at Daytona. So the front row is going to Alan Larson, Dominic Dyball, who started on the pole position, back up the second after sliding back partially. Guys, we're a quarter distance in this race. Already asked you guys about your thoughts so far on this. I'm looking forward to see if this 9 car can make that strategy work. And again, it wasn't a crazy move considering he was still a top 10 car in the running, or I say car, I need to say truck. He was a top 10 truck. It's not like it was one of the trucks that was riding outside the top 30 guys. So do you think that risk versus reward is worth it with that number 9 machine?
I'm gonna say no at the end of the day. I think it's keeping out front, keeping him away from all the accidents. But at lap 40, when he has to come in pit and he doesn't have a single partner to help him out, and he's 3-4 seconds leader's place, it's not gonna work. The strategy that I'm still leaning towards here, the 42 of George Bark, 73 of Crandall, Delane in the 24, Brandon and Tim all again took another last second pit stop to get some gas, and those guys can make it on only one more stop. So look for those guys if we have a long green run to make their way up to the front.
Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties there with my microphone, but back. I have to agree there with you on Alan Larson, though. Yeah, that he's I think going to pay the price. I really do. He's going to be coming in the lap 40 here and probably coming in by himself. So that's going to end up hurting him, I think, in the long run.
So he wants a caution. We'll find out. Pace car back down to pit road. Green flag flies back underway once again in Daytona. And 9 cars going to open up a gap. That's not really what you want to see at a super speedway. He doesn't get too far out front, so the 32 is going to get to him. But I think that's going to open up the door for the 15 on the outside. Here comes Dominic Dyball with help from the 47. Don Stevenson pushing down into 1 and 2. Side-by-side contact. Larson gets into the door of the 15. Everybody hangs on for now at a 2.
Exciting restart there. Dominic Dyball came down there and just brushed quarter panels there with Alan Larson. I don't think Alan is going to be too awful happy with that there because he was kind of squeezing him off. But Dominic Dyball is getting a really strong push here by the 47 of Don Stevenson out to the lead. See if he can get out there in the front and be able to drop down in front. As of right now, no, they're going to be sticking it up there to the top. The 47 car just now makes it past 9. We'll see if he can... these guys are going to go ahead and drop it down in, and they do.
1 car down pit road, we're hearing. The 25 of Jeffrey Smith. He's bringing his machine down pit road. That's one of the fast lane cars. Michael Whitlock coming in as well. 2 cars hitting the pit lane here. Off cycle, I would imagine, for green flag stops.
Well, what I'm seeing here is Jeffrey Smith was black flag, and I do believe Michael Whitlock also was shown the black flag. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Now they actually cleared Michael Whitlock's black flag, but the Jeffrey Smith car was given a black flag, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that right now.
I believe the black flag is, as I was mentioning, a couple of guys down at the end of the field, they were taking gas with the last lap. I believe iRacing does in fact black flag you if you have not been in the pits previously, if that's your first stop with 1 lap to go. And both of those guys did that.
So it appears that race control had actually given these drivers black flags. Then they were cleared to the point that it would force them to come down.
And the
pit
25
road.
spun.
Yeah, trouble. The 25 truck is around after trying to leave pit road. Jeffrey Smith is going to try to get it back going. He just got down into the grass there, trying to get back up to speed on the apron. He'll get back rolling, but the idea behind that is race control gave him a black flag, and once they hit pit road, they cleared it so that would, in theory, just be a pass-through. Those drivers that believed in it, it appeared so that they elected to actually come down, take 4 tires and fuel while they were down there. So interesting to see that, but we're going to have a lead change at the start-finish line. It is going to be the 15 of Dominic Dieball back to the point, and it is going to be the 47 of Don Stevenson pushing him. That's going to be the second car in line on the inside lane. Outside, 2 trucks trying to get the job done. Once again, Mitchell Reeves and the 37. Gordon Berkey now up into the mix up front. They're trying to make the outside work, but they're not pushing, not going to get the run that they need. They're about even with Alan Larson, who has dropped to third on that inside lane off that restart.
Yeah,
go ahead. Just to put a punctuation on that black flag there, what it was, I just got word from race control. The reason for the black flag was changing lanes before the start-finish line. That's what I'm hearing from race control right now.
Something you definitely can't do. I was just going to make a point, too. Alan Larson's troubles might be beginning sooner than later with the field knowing that he does, in fact, have to pit. He might be the odd man out as he does not currently have a drafting partner. He is in third place, but currently nobody wanting to ride along with him there.
An update on our lap machines. Jonathan McMinn sits 2 laps down. Jeffrey Smith sits 3 laps down. Those trucks 35th and 36. So 34 cars on the lead lap. Michael Whitlock last car on the lead lap again had to come down, and he's significantly behind our race leaders. But the side-by-side battle continues. The outside lane has grown because 2 more trucks are up into the mix. The 5 of Weston Campbell came up with that 51 that you were talking about. Carl Nicholas Doucette on the outside lane over that 5 and 51 duo. Can't go anywhere because of that stalled out tandem between the 2 and the 37 machine right in front of them. So as they try to navigate a way through that, the inside line just riding. Dominic Dieball continues to sit in the number 1 position as we start to single file out outside of the top 15. The side-by-side battles are abundant in the top 10.
Yeah, watching that Mitchell Reed number 2 truck there, they make a little bit of progress every time they hit the straightaway, and they're slowly creeping their way up here. It looks like, I'd say within the next 2 laps, Mitchell Reeds, if they keep pushing like that, will be up here in the lead, being pushed hard. I'm trying to see who's pushing him here. It looks like Berkey's push, giving him Gord Berkey's giving him a really good push right now on the outside. Yeah, so that's our vice president of CORA. He's out here pushing the number 2 truck of Mitchell Reeves up towards the lead.
We got some lap traffic that we are closing in on. Michael Whitlock currently right now on the bottom lane has the field closing in on him very quickly. So they're closing in on the 28 truck. 28 truck is going to yield high. Here come the lead lap trucks down to the inside lane. That's going to force a 3-wide situation. That outside tandem is actually starting to pick up speed. The 2, the 37 you mentioned, Carl, it is Gordon Berkey who's doing the pushing, has gotten that 2 car up. They're going to get side by side, nearly a nose for second place, Paul.
Yeah, just watching that big sigh of relief there that they were able to get past the Jake's truck there without any incident.
Yep, he got it back down the line there. I was getting kind of nervous there because he did kind of bang off the quarter panel of one of the trucks out there just before he got past him, but everybody made it through and passed him cleanly with no incidents.
So that outside tandem has lost a little bit of ground. They slid back to even with, again, Alan Larson, who finds himself 3rd in line on the inside after being in control of this field, and he's getting dangerously close to that fuel window for him, obviously being on a different strategy than everybody else. And we talked green flag pit stops and the fact that if we will see them tonight, and with the race distance, I believe that is a very possible outcome, seeing some green flag stops depending on how this racing shakes out, because we have seen 2 incidents coming out of turn 4 in that quick short shoot that has sent a couple of cars into the inside wall, and one of those resulting in a caution flag thrown by race officials. But you have to come down with somebody, and that's not the easiest thing to do. Leaving and also exiting pit road when you come back in also included in that one, because you're coming down, you got to woe these things up from about 180 miles an hour down to pit speed of 55. While these guys are next to you, you got to nail your stops, you got to get out with no penalties and get hooked up almost immediately if you want it to be successful. Alan Larson, again, has nobody on his strategy. Not sure if he would have a teammate that would, you know, come down and help him, pit with him. I mean, we've seen a lot of team play. We've seen Everett Lane essentially lose a lap on his own will to get hooked up with the 92 truck earlier on in this race. So who knows, but the 9 is running out of time here, guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Alan. He said he could make it to
we
lap
got
40.
caution. perfect for Alan Larson, but trouble at the 86 machine of Eric Sharp is down through the grass, trying to get a number on that, and the 86 got checked out of line. Not sure if he was reacting. Yeah, something in front of him. Michael Whitlock, the 28 truck, turned around in front of him, drifting up the racetrack into the 49 car out of the tri-oval, and he got hooked into the outside retaining wall. The 49 appeared to be an innocent victim of that. Scott Saunders. Looks like a little bit of prediction code netcode, but it puts that 28 Jegs truck into the outside wall, and then that truck spinning behind that incident after trying to get on the brakes was Eric Sharp. He got turned by the 88 who could not see what was happening in front of him. That sent that 88 truck through an off-road excursion down there in the grass in 1 and 2. He's able to not pick up any more damage, but that may have just saved Alan Larson.
Things go from bad to worse for the 88 of Michael Churchma. Looks like he is going to be one of the first trucks to put it behind the wall as he comes in with tons of damage to the front there. He had to tow it in. I believe he's used up all of his resets, and this is probably going to be the end of Michael Churchman night. That's a shame for the 88 truck. I think he was looking for a strong night coming back in here to CORA for the first race of the season.
Yeah, it looks like that 28 is also puffing out some white smoke there. It might be the end of his night as he's got tons and tons of problems down there in the pits. One thing I wanted to point out, I was about to say right before we went to yellow, the combination there of Tim Johnston and Brandon Cruz Monsive, they were running behind in 29th and 30th, but they were actually running laps faster than the leader, as well as the 24 and the 92 who hooked up earlier that we talked about. They were also about 10 seconds behind the pack, but running laps faster than the lead group, so those guys may be a factor later in the race.
Well, if I can interject something on there, I was talking earlier to Brandon Cruz Monsive and Tim Johnston. They are doing exactly what they planned on doing. This is exactly how they planned on running this race. Brandon said that they do not have any intentions of running up in the front of this pack until they absolutely have to. The only thing I could tell him on that when I was talking to him is you got to watch, keep yourself out of trouble, because the only way you're going to get to the front of the pack is to avoid these incidents. And when you're back here in the back of the pack and you have other cars in front of you and you can't see what's happening, sometimes it's almost impossible to avoid.
And that's one of the questions, guys, and we want to get some input from you guys as we keep an eye as Alan Larson, he's come down and he is now left from pit road. However, I don't think it worked out how he was hoping, because he is going to lose a lot of positions and drop him well outside of the top running positions that he was in. But everybody has a different play on what they're going to do when they come to a super speedway. Do you ride way in the back, start from pit road, you know you're half a lap behind? Do you ride at the tail end of the lead draft? Do you make your own group a couple seconds back? Do you run up front? Do you want to be on the inside? Do you want to be on the outside? There's so many different ways to go it. Personally, I like to be on the inside lane, because I feel like if you're up top and something happens, there's no escape route. You got a concrete wall next to you and a truck on your other side, so there's nowhere to go. I like being on the inside regardless of where you are, because you can use that apron as maybe an emergency escape route. But sometimes you'll see guys and, you'll talk to them pre-race and say, we're just going to hang out, towards the tail end of the pack. Don't lose touch. A caution happens, right mid-pack, tracks block, they're in it. And it's the guys that are racing aggressively up front that are in front of the incident drive away. So curious to see what your guys' strategy would be going into these super speedway races, because there's so many different takes that people take on them.
If it were me, I'd be in the pace car.
Definitely the safest spot.
Safest place you could possibly be. But no, if I'm gonna be out there running, I would probably prefer, as you, to be on the inside, up around the front of the field. 90% of your wrecks are gonna probably happen about mid-pack back, and like you said, the track, you get up to it, the track is blocked. What do? You're done.
For me, it really depends on how strong of a truck or car I have. If it's a situation where I know I can run up front, I'd like to be there. But if I know I'm going to be a mid-packer, for sure, I want to be at the very, 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 very back of the field where nobody could possibly run over me. Be able to use as much of the track as I need to avoid an accident, have all the reaction time, and know I won't get run over. There's so many times I've been mid-pack where I've been able to avoid the wreck, but then somebody comes and runs over from me from behind. So I'll take the back of the pack any day.
And we will see those different strategy plays, those multiple attacks on how these guys are going to roll into this race play out as the night progresses. And We've passed the quarter distance mark, closing in about going to be 10 laps to go this time by until we reach the halfway point. And again, that will put us on the downhill side of things where the action is only going to be amplified at that point because there's going to be a lot less lifting, a lot less give, a lot more take. And that's when Daytona can really show its true colors, especially when we're under the lights here. Update on some lap cars. Last car on the lead lap is Brandon Cruz-Monsive. He is 32nd spot, so the first truck off the lead lap. 1 lap out of it's going to be Michael Whitlock. He's the only truck 1 lap down. A couple of guys 2 out of it is Michael Churchma. Carl, you talked about the rough night that he's had in the 88 machine. Jonathan McMinn's 2 down, and so is Jeffrey Smith. But so far, I have to say, pretty impressed. No trucks behind the wall. Everybody's still out there on track.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I looked here and saw Michael Churchman back on the track with a full. I thought he had used both of his repairs up, but apparently he did not. He's out here with a brand new machine and ready to rock and roll. We'll take a look down here real quick. We're 40 laps into the event. Take a look down the leaderboard here. We're looking at the number 1 position of the number 15 of Dominic Dieball. Don Stevenson is rolling on number 2. Mitch Reeves is in the 2 car in the 3rd position. Gordon Berkey, he's moved his way up into the 4th position in the 37 machine. We got Ryan Borges sitting here in the 5th position in the number 32. David Wank has moved us up here into the 6th position in the 20. We got Weston Campbell. He is sitting here in the 7th position in the number 5 machine. We got Nathan Sedlak sitting here in the 35 truck, in 8th position. Nicholas Doucette, the child prodigy, sitting here in the 9th position of the 51 machine. And we have John Pansula in the 01 sitting here in 10th position.
We mentioned at the top of the show that as the lights actually go up in a pace car right now, so going to be a lap 42 restart on this one. But we talked about the 5 different vehicles that you're going to be running in this season. There are individual championships for each car, but we're starting off with the trucks. We have 2 races upcoming in this first stint of trucks. In 1 week time is going to be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That one going to be in these trucks as well, and then 2 weeks from then going to be at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and that ends the opening stint in the truck. So these super speedways are a lot different than those 1.5, so I think you're going to see, and some people may argue that it is these super speedways that give some of the drivers that are slower, maybe not the the top 5 runners week in and week out, give those kind of guys an opportunity. So going to be interesting to see how these guys act and who we see up front in comparison to who we see up front tonight as we roll into those intermediate tracks, the short tracks, especially when we start getting into different vehicles throughout the season. An update on our in-race reporter, Alan Larson, again playing that strategy call. He's going 3 wide right now, actually, down the back straightaway into Napa Chevrolet, trying to figure out where everybody's got to get in line. Guys, he has dropped outside of the top 30.
I believe he's probably begging right now for a partner since he has not been in this position yet tonight, at the back of the pack.
One of the things that I failed to actually say, you guys probably wouldn't have known this. I've been in a couple of the meetings here this season, in the preseason here. One of the rule changes that they did make, next week we're going to be seeing something that we have never seen in CORA before, and half of the season this year is going to be run as an open set, which means you're going to be able to put in your own setups, work on your own setups all week long, and that's what you're going to run your car in. The other half of the season, well, not the other half of the season, but the other races is going to be a closed set. It's going to be a set that's going to be being brought in. I'm not going to be naming anybody until I'm told I'm allowed to make mention of who is making the sets, but they are going to be making sets for these guys for the other half of the season as we get ready to go back to green.
The green flag flies were back underway, and this is one of our open set races via CORA-racing.com if you want to find out any more information on the CORA Sunday Money Series. But 1 week's time, we're going to go back to fixed and back to open, so it appears it's going to alternate throughout the season, which again is only going to furthermore test who can really drive these trucks. So we're back underway. We roll into quarter number 2. It is the outside lane. Dominic Dieball with help from the 47 of Don Stevenson. They're going to get a run, but can that 47 get clear of the 2 of Mitchell Reeves? They'll try to tuck down in line 3 and 4. Do they have enough room? No, the 2's going to get a nose there. Looks like Dominic Dieball is not going to leave his partner out to dry. And here comes that 2 and the 32. Borges in tow on the inside line.
Risky play by the 15. The 15 ended up jumping out of line, had the inside line, and had the 2 behind him, but he decided to go up high to catch the 47, and the 2 ruined that party.
Well, the 47 and the 15 Dieball and Stevenson, they have been working together all evening so far, and I think Dominic just said, "Hey, you're who I'm working with. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to stick with you. We'll go high. If we go back a little bit, we'll go back a little bit." But I think that's what you're looking at with Dominic Dieball there. That's why he stepped out of line and went up there with Don Stevenson. Is like I said, they've been working together all night. He's just going to keep that tandem going.
So this is going to make us still side-by-side up front. And again, guys, we've seen multiple times in these super speedway races that you'll see a two-truck tandem get working on the outside lane, and the truck leading that sees that he's clear, his partner isn't, and oh well, he'll drop down in line, leave his buddy out hanging. Not what Dominic Dieball had in mind, because he could easily be P1 right now. He was second across the stripe because Mitchell Reeves on the inside lane had a nose over him because he did not want to leave Don Stevenson hanging out to dry. So those two trucks continue to work the outside. We are side by side, about 4 rows deep. There are 4 sets of tandem up here. The 2 and the 32 leading the inside charge. It is the 15 and the 47 leading it on the outside. 2 more tandems include Gordon Berkey on the inside with Weston Campbell, and on the outside, David Wink moving forward with help from the 35 of Nathan Sedlak, and then single file pretty much from there on back. 2 more trucks trying to make the outside work and try to get up into this main battle. Bruce Bouchard and the 48 machine trying to come up to the front. That's going to be Mark McFadden as they try to make something work around P15.
The way it's looking here right now, Don Stevenson's truck must be getting warm, because if you watch every once in a while, he is poking out from behind Dominic there and trying to get a little bit of air in the nose of that truck there to cool that engine down, get that oil temperature brought back down. One thing you do not want to do is get these things overheated, because you take a good chance of losing an engine, as they are able now to get back down here onto the inside line, and they have finally made that pass on Mitchell Reeves' work. Dominic Dieball is now fully in command of the race with Don Stevenson pushing hard.
I just want to give an update to people following our in-race reporter there, Alan Larson. He is back, still 28th position. He has lost the lead draft, and currently still does not have a drafting partner, falling back through the field.
So he continues to slide the wrong direction right now. The furthermost pack is the 12 and the 54. That's Tim Johnstone and Brandon Cruz Monsive, and they're going to swap positions. They're going to be 31st and 32nd. They are 12 seconds away from our lead draft. 2 more trucks working together. Everett Lane, Eric Sharp. They're 7 seconds back from the lead group in positions 29th and 30th, respectively. And then you mentioned Alan Larson trying to hang on to the back end of a draft going on in front of him. There's a couple of lap trucks in that mix as well, but this main pack is working strong and consists of, I want to say, about 22 cars, and 15 of which are within 1 second of each other. The inside lane is the dominant lane, but it is the outside that is the passing lane. The 20 car going to lead out at the start and finish line. David Wink from 4th to 1st position. Can they get clear? Nathan Sedlak needs to get in front. The 15 of Dominic Dieball. All these guys have been working together tonight. Lets them know that he is clear. And now the 35 jumps down in line. That's going to put David Wink to the point after starting P3.
Yeah, nothing strange here seeing David Wink and Nathan Sedlak working together. They work together quite often. I've seen them out here working on these super speedways as drafting partners, and they are doing well tonight. They got themselves back up here into the lead. David Wink is once more leading this freight train down onto the backstretch here, as Nathan Sedlak, Dominic Dieball, and Don Stevenson are right in his trail. They're wrecking.
We got trouble. The number 19 truck is around. That's Garrett Atwell. Oh, up on the roof and multiple spins through the front straightaway grass. He got hooked by the 48 machine and just turned into the wall. He got another hit. Looks like another truck came in. The 60 machine sent him up in the air, and Garrett Atwell up and over multiple times. He's going to have to take a tow back to his stall, guys, because he landed on his roof. And this is going to slow us down as the caution flag will fly just short of the halfway point.
That's a shame, too, to see Garrett Atwell in the Atomic Church truck there. He was another driver who had high hopes for today's race, and looks like that's going to end with him on his roof. Lots and lots of damage here. I think that's his first incident, though, so he'll probably be able to get in here and get this truck fixed, but probably end up going a lap down, being that he had to tow to get in there. So big disappointment for Garrett Atwell in the Atomic Church truck. But back up here in the front, like you said, now David Wink and Nathan Sedlick, now they're sitting up here in the front. Do you guys think we're going to be seeing any more pit stops right away, or you think you guys are going to leave them out here for a while?
First of all, I just have to say I'm incredibly dizzy after watching that. I don't know if I've ever seen as many spins. I don't know if I've ever seen as many spins. I'm seriously, my room is spinning right now. Anyways, as for the strategy, really quick, I'll have to say that I believe most people should stay out if they want to be. If they just pit 10, 15 laps ago, so they're good there. You're not going to see any needed pit stops for another 15 laps or so. So stay out.
Well, John Pansula is going to bring it down pit road, and I agree with you on the fact that they are still short of making it the distance, so I think they should stay out. That would be my call, but down pit road goes John Pansula, and as we close in on the halfway point, going to give you a full field rundown presented by today's our title sponsor, WW Trucking. We'll run you down through them 5 at a time. David Wink right now sits P1, Nathan Sedlak in second, Dominic Dipal in third, Don Stevenson fourth, Mitchell Reeves P5.
Ryan Borges is in the 6th position. Gordon Berkey, excuse me, Bruce Broussard, Weston Campbell, and Nicholas Doucette round out the top 10.
Scoring hasn't caught up yet. We know John Pansula was in 11th when he came down pit road. And 12th is the 00 of James O'Brown. 13th, the 79 of Joel Wood. 14th place, the 98 of Darn Larson. And in 15th, the 64 of Jonathan Taylor.
Bill Gary sits 16th, 17th is Scott Saunders, Martin Porter 18th, 19th Jeremy Crandall, Michael D'Amico top 20.
George Bark, Dale Atkins, Patrick Shackle, Alan Larson, and Everett D. Lane ran out to your up to 25 positions.
All right, and at 26, we have the 26 of Marcus Babb. 27th is the 86 of Eric Sharp. 28th, the number 3 of Bob Lutz. And then in 29th and 30th, our tandem of Brandon Cruz, Monty Vey, and Tim Johnstone.
Mark McFadden, 31st. 32nd, Michael Whitlock. Garrett Atwell, 33rd. Michael Churchma, first truck, 1 lap down. Actually, no, Garrett Atwell's the first truck, 1 lap down. Churchma's 2 laps down, 34th, 35th. Jeremy Smith and Jonathan McMinn in 36th position. So halfway through this opening race with the CORA Sunday Buddy Series, going to step away once again for a quick commercial break. When we come back, more racing under the lights at Daytona.
race car has a soul, and the Audi 90 Quattro had a very special soul. When we came to the States with this car, nobody could believe what we can achieve with this car. Small engine, 5-cylinder. It's a German saloon car. We knew that we can only win the race by using all the car has.
The green flag is out. And here we go.
The 5-cylinder engine was a jewel. It was lighter and it was more compact. You put your foot on the throttle and you could use the power instantly.
Back live at the Daytona International Speedway, lights off on top of the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, and halfway point this time by going to be taking the green flag, and it is going to be the number 20 machine, David Wink, his Chevrolet, in pole position. Up again, welcoming you back into the broadcast booth on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, Paul Coleman once again up here with you guys. And season opener, guys, we're halfway through it. We've seen a fair amount of wrecks, but the big one that is always a fear at these super speedways has eluded us to this point. We're on the downhill side of things, so the action is about to get turned up. Pace car gets set to dive down to pit road. This is going to put the 20 truck in control of this field right now. 20 truck alone in front of the field. Pace car off and the green flag flies. We're racing once again at Daytona. Advantage to David Wink on the inside line. Does the 35 drop in line? Yes, he does. We got a big checkup throughout the pack. It looks like everybody's able to hang on to it, but that was a messy restart for that inside lane. We got trouble with the 98 truck. And that appears to be John Larson. He's down in the grass, guys. Not sure if you caught what happened there. It looks like a huge checkup, and he got sent down to the grass.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was there. The inside line checked up. He didn't get checked up, or somebody behind him didn't get checked up, gave him a boot, and right down into the grass he went there on the tri-oval. That's a shame, man. He was actually starting to come up through the field there pretty good, and that's going to put him back way into the back of the field. Actually, he's not going to even have contact with the back of the field.
And so that truck got shot at a line, and Paul, this is going to separate what we thought was going to be a big, crazy pack here. Everybody's kind of separated. Look at the outside lane go through the tri-oval, 47 to the point.
I was just going to mention really quick, Alan Larson, our in-race reporter, got some significant rear end damage on that last thing again, so his strategy not working out for him.
He's 220, but left rear damage on that machine for sure.
Don Stevenson just got the push a lifetime up here to the front. If you were watching that, boy, he was going at least 5 mile an hour faster than that inside lane, and wow, that was pretty exciting for Don Stevenson. I think he was probably looking down and saying, "How fast are we going here, guys?"
Well, Don's got one of the best super speedway aces in Ryan Borges pushing him through, so he's definitely in good hands there.
And again, this is one of those open set races, so these guys can be selecting which setup they would like to run. They are not forced to be on the same as everybody else. So all these teams are working. Obviously, if you're a teammate, you get the same setup as them. So a little bit of aero packages, I'd say, for the bigger teams, evidently rolling into this one. But 47-37, they sit in the top two spots. They are teammates side by side from what's going to be P6 on pack. The outside lane is trying to be led. It looks like the 15 of Dominic Dyball is on the outside lane. He has help. The 79 of Joel Wood trying to get into the mix. How about Joel Wood starting in 15th position? Has been kind of quiet all night, trying to make a charge to the top 10. He leads that outside lane.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Joel Wood has been quiet. He's been doing pretty much exactly what he wanted to do. He's finally going to get himself lined up here with his teammate here, Dominic Dyball. These are the two that I was telling you earlier were the class of the field all week long, and here they come. They have finally gotten themselves together. Let's see what Dominic Dyball and Joel Wood are going to be able to do from the Woodridge Motorsports team here. These guys are going to be a force to reckon with, I guarantee.
Just looking at the telemetry really trick there, Joel Wood actually ran a half a second faster than Don Stevenson that last lap. Amazing what you can do when you push and get right on up to somebody's bumper.
Well, these guys have amazing setups here. Like I said, I've been watching these guys for the past 2 weeks, and they have been that much faster the last 2 weeks here, and it's showing right now.
Well, I was about to talk about John Larson. He just caught the wall all by himself at a lap or at a turn number 4. He's 43 seconds back, or if you want to correlate that, he's only about 5 seconds in front of the leaders to lose his lap. But 98, you have to imagine not satisfied, guys, as he's about to lose his lap. The fact that he got turned, there was no caution, but we had seen earlier in the race when Michael Churchman got spun, that did not bring a caution, did not trigger a caution from iRacing. There was one actually thrown by race control.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that there, but yeah, John Larson is right now being overtaken by the leaders as Dominic Dyball and Joel Wood go to his inside, and so does the rest of the field. Everybody now, they make it 3 wide here as they get around him. Looks like everybody's going to be able to get by Larson cleanly this time by. But yeah, don't understand what happened there. Like you said, there was when Churchmo spun by himself, a caution flag was thrown, and for John Larson, it did not happen.
You guys think that this outside lane is going to be able to make it work? Because they are hustling, but Jonathan Taylor, oh, the 2 car nearly got turned there, but that's 64. I was going to say, he's been pushing that 2 truck for so long. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to stay tucked up underneath them. They've gotten about a nose even with Ryan Borges, which would be for P5. They nearly lost it at 1 and 2. They tried to mount the charge, and now we got Reckon back in the pack. Trouble, and caution flag will fly. Trying to get a number on who's involved. It's down the back straightaway. The 49 car. Again, the 88 of Michael Churchma is in that incident. And it looks like the 49 and the 88, looks like the 49 got shot out of line when the cars in front of him kind of bobbled and slid up, and almost a little bit of prediction code net code sent in up in front to collect Michael Churchma in that. And those 2 trucks get wrecked down the back straightaway. So Churchma in that one, the 49 truck in that one as well. It's going to be Scott Saunders. We return back to a caution flag period.
Yeah, I was going to mention, as you had that battle going up in front, I was actually taking a look at these guys in the back of the pack, and a lot of those guys had damage from that checkup on the green, and they were trying to wreck for the last 3 laps. So it was only a matter of time there.
I think Michael Churchman is going to wish he didn't get out of bed this morning, because this has not been a good race for him. And this is just stemming off of last season. He had a lot of bad luck last year going through the season, and it just seems like it's carried over here into the first race of the season. Michael Churchman, this is now his 4th incident that he's had tonight. Major incident with major damage on his vehicle, and that's a shame, because you're not going to find a nicer guy on the racetrack than Michael Churchman, and that's a shame to see him getting this kind of damage.
So guys, it's about 43 to go. Can't go that far on fuel under green. Do we see these guys come down and hope they get some cautions and try to stretch this out to the end?
We're going to find out right now.
Comes that 15 truck.
Looks like it's going to happen unless they're going to fake him out.
We'll see. 15 is showing signs that he'll come down pit road. Does Dominic Dyball commit to the inside of the commitment cone? He does. And will all the leaders come down pit road? You would have to think they're all going to come down pit road. At least one truck stays out.
1, 2, 3. I'm seeing about 3
It's going to be John Larson.
Stay out there, yeah.
Look like, are they all lap trucks though? Trying to get a number on them. John Larson stays out. He is a lap machine. Michael Churchma stays out there as well. He's a lap truck. So
you got one
looks
car
like
going
all
through
of our
pit road.
leaders may be coming down.
Yep, the lead lappers. Every single one of them came in. The only ones that stayed out here are the ones that had to stay out, and that's the lap cars. So let's see what happens.
Joel Wood in the
Tires
79
and fuel.
actually went all the way through pit road, did not stop, and is now rejoining the fray in front.
Well, I'll tell you, the leaders on pit road, they came down. It's going to be a 2-tire call and out for them. Marcus Batt is a lead lap truck. Phil Gary is a lead lap truck. John Pansula is a lead lap truck as well. So those trucks right now as they run, Joel Wood is a lead lap truck as well. 4 of them didn't come down pit road from back in the pack. So we're hearing Joel Wood is one that you were talking about there, Paul. He missed his stall. But we're taking a look, and it looks like a couple of these guys, John Pansula, did not come down pit road. There's at least 3, and then if you want to add Joel to the mix, 4 trucks that will not take fuel or service under this caution flag period. I don't see them having any shot at making it from here, guys.
Sorry, go ahead, Carl.
The only thing I can see with Joel Wood is he just missed his pit stall, which is very unfortunate for him because he just got back up here. He just got back up here with Dominic, and they were going to, I think, be looking to check out on the field here. But with Joel missing his pit stop, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt bad.
Yeah, I'm going to say, though, Joel Woods made his bed. He's probably better off now not coming in, just staying out and hoping for a yellow or something like that, because with 43 laps to go and you can only go 40, but now Joel Wood is pitting. Maybe that one extra lap he'll have might carry him a little further.
And now we're going to try to talk to our in-race reporter once again, Alan Larson. You got a copy on the radio?
Yes, sir, I do, guys. How's it going?
Well, you're rolling down pit road right now. It looks like you're working a little bit of left rear damage. How has your race been rolling so far now that we've passed the halfway point?
Well, it was working really good till this last time I came in and I missed my pit stall, so I got to pit a second time. Not part of the strategy, but this will be my last pit. I think I can make it to the end from here, and hopefully I can get a partner to work with, and we can get this Napa Chevrolet Silverado to the front.
Based on the racing that you've seen so far, we've seen the outside lane be what you want to call maybe the passing lane. Most of the passes have been made up on the outside lane, and you're going to be starting obviously deep in the pack, having to come down pit road once again. Realistically, what do you think are your shots here moving forward? I mean, you still have about 40 laps to go when we go back green, so there's still a lot of time, but there's a lot of traffic to navigate. Do you think if you find somebody that you'll be able to navigate it, or is being that far back in the pack? I mean, if you look at a George Bark right in front of you, him and Jeremy Crandall have been hooked up all night long, but it's the track position that's been killing them. What are you going to have to look for moving forward here to get a shot at this one?
A fast truck that I can pair up with. I've got a couple of ideas and people that I'm working with here, so it's all about strategy and it's all about track position. If we can get another caution here and a few more pit, we might have a pretty decent shot at it. I'm definitely looking in the top 10.
Hey, Alan, just follow up in the booth as well. I had a question. What goes into that? If you don't have a teammate necessarily right there to find as a dancing partner, how do you go about searching? Tell the people at home how you can find a dancing partner if you don't actually have a teammate immediately to work with.
The in-race communication that iRacing provides, you can talk, or we can talk on TeamSpeak, which all the drivers are required to carry TeamSpeak. So I'm in the channel with a couple other drivers that I've been kind of half working with, Dale Atkins and Patrick Scahill. I've been in cahoots with them, and we're going to try and hook up together and see if we can hook up together. Yeah, it's kind of a neat situation where you got the in-race communication, unlike you do in real NASCAR, but it really helps out here to be able to get hooked up with somebody.
Well, and I was going to say we were not going to give away the top secret information of those names that you were talking with, but you opened the box on that one. Before we let you get back here as the lights are off at the pace car, any shout-outs you want to throw out there?
You want to repeat that? I had somebody talking in my headset here.
Yeah, no problem. I was going to say, well, we weren't going to let everybody know who you were talking with, but before we let you get back to racing, any shout-outs?
Yeah, I just want to say welcome back to Season 5 for CORA, man. I mean, they put on an awesome event here with the Sunday Money Series, and I'm really, really excited to get back going and get this season back underway.
All right, well, we'll let you get back down to your team, and good luck here in the later stints of this race.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Well, while we were having that conversation, I just want to point out that not only did Joel Wood pit a second time for gas, but also one of the guys running up front, Dominic Dyball, also decided to pit and take on fuel in the last lap as well. So he gave up front of the pack position there to ensure that he had enough fuel to make it to the end.
Was he ensuring he made enough fuel to make it to the end, or was he ensuring that he was going to get back hooked up with Joel Wood for the last run of this? Because like I said before, those guys have been working all the past 2 weeks together and have been very, very strong. I think that's what we're looking at. I think Dominic decided, well, might as well go in, top it off, get back with my racing partner here, and try to come back to the front of this field. That's what I'm seeing.
Will loyalty be the right strategy move? We'll find out in a minute.
We will, as the pace car dives down to pit road. Green flag flies. We're back underway. It is John Pansula who's going to lead the field back to the green flag. He's 68 of Phil Gary, the D&K Trucking entry on the outside lane, as the 26 of Marcus Babb gets right up to the back bumper of John Pansula. He's going to push him now down into quarter number 1, and the race is off at 1 and 2. The outside lane gets a run, but it is, again, guys, we didn't have that crazy checkup. There wasn't all that tire spin that we saw in the last restart, so this main group about back to 16th position, 2 wide all the way as they exit 2.
Big push out here on the outside lane. Phil Gary's getting a really hard push by Borges. Borges is giving him a shove out to the front there. See if they're going to be able to bring it up here to the front like we've seen before and drop it down in front. They are not. The inside lane is going to charge back here. We got John Pansula. He's being pushed hard by the Marcus Babb truck, and it's going to be fun, guys. This is going to be a fun end to this race. I have a funny feeling we're going to see, like I said, a big surprise, and I think it's going to be a couple of these guys coming from the back of this field back up to the front. That's just my opinion. I don't. Does anybody see a big one coming?
Well, you can see that the anticipation and the excitement level's up because we are 2 wide and, again, bumper to bumper all the way through. You want to talk guys that have been moved through the field. How about Phil Gary? Again, he started 19th. He leads as him at a 32 are Brian Borges. How about Borges, guys? It seems like all night long, Borges has been helping other guys. He's been pushing. He hasn't been pushed. So maybe that'll pay off for him, and he'll have himself in a runner-up spot at a 4 on that final lap. Try to step it along and put that 32 truck in victory lane.
We'll tell you this, Ryan Borges certainly has more friends and definitely making his Christmas card list there a little longer. I want to give a shout out really quick to George Park, and who's made his way all the way up to 12th position. He's been one of those guys. Him and the 73 of Jeremy Crandall have been in the back of the pack all night long. Now they're finally working their way up just right outside the top 10.
Well, if you remember the beginning of the race here, the 24 truck of Everett D. Lane went a lap down early. He has now made his way all the way back up here into the 18th position in that 24 truck. He's being pushed right now. He's actually doing some pushing right now. Looks like he's pushing Scahill, trying to get him up to the front, getting up here around the 37 truck of Gordon Berkey.
We got 3 wide back of the pack around P13, but gonna quiet down on the radios right now. I'm gonna go crank it up. Well, the outside lane has showed up because there goes Nathan Sedlak, but it was the 42 and the 73 of George Bark, Jeremy Crandall that initiated that. They came flying up the outside, 3 wide at one point, and the 35 jumped out to the outside lane to stall that run, and now he's riding with that 42 of George Bark. Top 2 side by side, actually top 4 side by side is the 35 trying to get a nose. We got trouble down the back straightaway. 15 machine, Dominic Dyball, pole sitter entering tonight. Heavy damage, and we had a big incident coming through 1 and 2. One truck had some trouble. It was the 9 of Alan Larson. In-race reporter got hooked on the front end as the truck in front of him made a move down to the yellow line. 9 car directed, the 98, the 79, the 15, the 3, the 92. A 6 truck pileup came out. There was no caution at the point. Now race control will throw the yellow flag after a 6 truck incident. And we go back to caution flag where a lot of big names. In-race reporter Alan Larson in that. Our pole sitter Dominic Dyball was in that. And we're going to slow them back down now, closing in on 30 to go.
Looks like the 15 truck of Dominic Dyball is going to be disqualified for something that happened on the racetrack there. Dominic Dyball is going to be the first truck officially out of the race. Otherwise, we have 35 trucks still on the lead lap, or still on in the race, and 31 trucks still on the lead lap until, well, right now Alan Larson just with that lap down. So we are now down to 30 cars on the lead lap.
So we are going to try to cue him up and try to get a word with Dominic Dyball, but he has been disqualified from race control. Again, race control has thrown the caution flag as it good old iRacing decided to not throw it there as 6 trucks were piling in at a quarter number 2, but we will slow them down with Nathan Sedlak going to be in P1. And Carl, we take this opportunity under the caution flag. Let those view it at home that are maybe interested in hopping into one of these races, how they can get involved with CORA in the Sunday Money Series.
Best thing they could do is just go to CORA-racing.com. In there, there's a couple different places you can get signed up, get yourself on TeamSpeak. Once you get on TeamSpeak here, just take a look for Alan Larson. He's our public relations guy here. He will help you get everything you need taken care of and signed up. Otherwise, if you just want to get on and take a look at the schedule and the standings, you can get on to www.cora-racing.com.
We have on the radio now Dominic Dyball. You got a copy?
How you doing?
Well, we were watching you. You sat on pole. You were up front for a lot of this race, and now you have been given the black flag and have been put behind the wall from the race officials. What happened there?
Just Daytona and a lot of emotions for the first race. You know, it really gets a little crazy and out on that track, and just a little emotions getting the better of me.
We saw that incident just happening recently down in corners number 1 and 2. You were kind of up on the outside lane and could be considered an innocent victim in that. We had kind of an overhead shot on that. What did you see from behind the wheel?
Joel was in front of me and he called it off and just tried to go as high as we could to try to get by it, and they came up and collected us, you know, unfortunately. Daytona.
The beast of those super speedways, Paul.
Well, Dominic, you were up front most of the time, and then we saw you take a very, very late pit stop. We assumed that was to get with Joel, but what was it like racing in the back as opposed to racing in the front? Is that something you did only because Joel decided to pit, or what else was that?
Yeah, it was definitely a partner thing. Definitely, you know, I knew the last 40 laps. I've been in a little storm sandwich. I got to give them a big shout out. Thank you for, you know, nesting me in there. But with 40 to go, I didn't think it was going to work out like that, so I was better off going back with my teammate, and I knew that we could work our way through the field in 40 laps, so, but unfortunately this is what happens.
Hey Dominic, this is Carl, man. Hey, hate to see it like this, man. I told you I wanted to talk to you, but this isn't how I wanted to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, hopefully we can see you bring it back out on the racetrack next week. You guys had a strong set, man. I've been watching you guys for the past 2 weeks out here in the Daytona Speed Weeks, and man, that's a shame. I hate to see it for you, bud. Good luck. Hope to see you back here on the track again next week and fighting for that lead.
Thank you very much. I got to give a shout out to Small Town Computers, Dyewear, and of course Wood Wrench Motorsports, Joel Wood, Brandon and Tim And of course, my boy Charlie, who didn't make it today. So go get him, Joel and Brandon the Tin.
That was Dominic Dieball. Unfortunately, the first truck to be behind the wall here, not by his choice. And, well, never. I don't think it's ever by his choice, but that's a shame. Good driver. Great guy. What's going on there, bud?
Sorry, I was going to say, I sadly foreshadowed that about 10 laps ago with the Dominic getting in a unique position there in the very back.
Yeah, that when you get yourself in the back like that, that's just asking for trouble. He was doing well up here in the front. When him and Joel hooked up, I thought they were going to be able to check out on that. But, well, now we got drivers like Nathan Sedlak back up here in the front, Mitchell Reeves, George Bark sitting up here in the front, very strong truck, Nathan Taylor sitting here in the 4th position, and Jeremy Crandall in 5th. So still got a lot of great drivers up here in the front. I don't see us having any problem with seeing a really good run to the end to the checker flags. We got the 00 James Brown, our president and CEO of CORA. He's sitting up here in the 15th position. I told you he's one of the drivers to be watching out for. He is slowly making his way up to the front, and he is now hooked up with his teammate, Gordon Berkey, the vice president of CORA. See if they can make a run to the front of this field.
Well, speaking of foreshadowing, we have less than 30 laps to go. Carl, who do you think, who do you like?
Right now, this could change.
On the spot.
This could change, but right now, I'm looking at Nathan Sedlak and George Bark. They are strong together. They've been pushing hard. You've seen them coming up the outside lane there, just exactly how strong they could be. So my choice is going to be one of those two drivers.
All right, before we ask the Vegas guy his selection, I am going to take whoever Ryan Borges pushes.
I was going to say I'm going to take Ryan Borges. And it's hard to go against the George Bark, the Jeremy Crandalls, the Nathan Sedlaks who we've seen on the outside, but my totally professional and calculated Vegas odds are going to tell me Ryan Borges just because he's been so good at pushing, and I want to be that second car in line out of turn 4.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have the Ryan Borges all exacta, to use a horse racing term.
So we are hoping to get the lights off of the pace car this time. Probably going to keep an eye on that as we cycle across the start-finish line. Lap 72 in the books. We're going to take lap 73, and the lights do go off on the pace car. So as we have a quick moment here under the caution flag, again, want to walk you through the weekly payouts because, again, you're going to be walking away with a trip to the bank at the end of the night. $30 up for the winner at the end of this all. So there's some good incentive to take this one to victory lane, and these guys also have to remember it is the first race of the season. It is Daytona. Everybody wants to win it. You still can get hurt if you get wrecked out of this points-wise moving forward in the chase for the championship. You got to be top 10 to get a shot at it in the chase.
Now this is a 24 race season here, and we were talking about it earlier. I think it's early in the season, I know, but I think that you can see one mulligan. That's it. I don't, with the caliber of drivers you got out here, I don't see more than one mistake giving you any chance of being in the run for the championship. I really don't. We have a strong caliber of drivers, like I was saying, and you mess up one time, you're okay, but you mess up that second time, I think you're done.
And this race is going to get very exciting, and I feel like we are not done with the caution flags because when people start to get antsy, people start to get brave at Daytona, the big one, those incidents that we have seen throughout the night, we'll see a few more of them. So it's going to be restart with less than 30 to go. We are keeping an eye on the live stream, so for everybody tuning in, if you have any questions there in the chat, make sure to type them in there. We will take our best efforts to try to answer them here on air. But we're rolling through 3 and 4. We're going to go back green on lap 74 of 101. So going to be a 28-27 lap to go restart, I want to call it. It is going to be Nathan Sedlak in control of this field. Mitchell Reeves in the second spot in the number 2 car. But George Bark and Jeremy Crandall going to be lined up bumper to bumper. They hung in the back all night long. Paul, as you talked about their strategy, they're going to have a crack at this as their top 5. Pace car off, green flag flies. We're back on our way at Daytona. Ladder stages here with CORA.
Nathan Sedlak getting a really good push here by George Bark. Let's see if he's going to be able to make this work because as we've seen, if that top line can get hooked up together, they are going to be a lot faster. But as of right now, it is Nathan Sedlak being pushed by the, looks like was being pushed.
Now the 48
Just lost
goes
George
to the high
Bark.
line.
The 73 truck and the George Bark truck, the 42 truck there, they have decided to
they're
leave
gone.
Nathan Sedlak, and they're gone.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Nathan Sedlak was a sitting duck there with Jeremy Crandall right behind the 42. As soon as he was able to get some space up to the high line, they just went, and this could be the last you see. If this race goes green, these guys are on.
Yeah, they hooked up. They finally got up to the front of the field, and they stepped that line. They have set sail. It is the Bark Competition Karting Chevrolets to P1 and 2 with George Bark leading that charge. Here comes the rest of the pack, though. They're going to get that draft suck right up back behind them. The 35 of Sedlak with his teammate, that's Ryan Borges, on the inside. The 2 of Mitchell Reeves continuing to try to steal the show. He started 8th. He's on the outside. He has help from Jonathan Taylor. Taylor started 11th as well. They're going to put up a fight for it side by side for the top spot. Nose to nose down into quarter number 3. The top 4 cars side by side and 2 rows deep, but the inside is going to have the advantage when you go down into that corner on the inside lane. Again, it's almost like you're diving down into the corner. You carry some more speed. If you're on the outside, you almost got to go up the hill. Translate, though, to a big run off the corner for the outside lane. The 2 truck, Mitchell Reeves at the start-finish line. Not clear, though, on those inside trucks.
After taking a season off last year, George Bark went off to do his own thing here for a little while last year, decided to come back this year and make another run of it, and he's back to his old ways here, leading these races. It's not an unfamiliar sight to see George Bark up here in the front of CORA. Last year, like I said, he did take some time off here. He had some other things he wanted to do, but he's back in the truck, back here in CORA, and back out here leading races.
Just want to point out, just behind this paddle here, one of our early slowpokes that was slowing down, Everett D. Lane, has made himself all the way up to 11th place, just outside the top 10. Good recovery.
But he's trying to claw his way back into this in the latter stages. Lap 77 now in the works, and that outside charge has started to run out of steam, and they've dropped back to 3rd place. Mitchell Reeves still working with the 64 truck. We got some more guys trying to work the outside. Don Stevenson up to the top with help from David Wink. They're working the outside lane. The inside lane still strong in this lead draft. About 20 cars within 2 seconds of it all. 30 of them remain on the lead lap at this point. Are we done with the wrecking? Is this the final green flag run for the checker? 3 wide. 64 takes a nose to the outside, trying to get some air to the front of his Chevrolet. As again, he has been tucked up behind Mitchell Reeves for the majority of this race. That will check up the outside lane, and the inside is going to pull about 2 truck lengths over that top groove. It is still Sedlak, 3rd car in line on the bottom, but still George Bark running P1.
Back here towards the mid-pack, we're looking at the 79 and the 54 car. Now they are 2 teammates, Woodridge. They have hooked up. They're starting to push together, and maybe we'll see the combination of Joel Wood and Brandon Mossy-Weiss come up here to the front now. Like I said, they have a very, very strong setup, and they are teammates, so they are hooked up. And minus Dominic Dieball, we still got some fire going as they make a switch here quick.
And obviously that switch will cost you some time. You got to get hooked up and pushing, but in doing so, you're going to have to swap at some point. That truck that's been getting the clean air will eventually have to drop in line, and they'll have to switch, but that outside lane continues to run how they are. It is the 2 of Mitchell Reeves with the advantage that time by the start-finish line. The 64 is up behind him, Jonathan Taylor, but again, corner entry for that outside lane just keeps hurting them. They slide back, and it allows the inside lane to pour up. And even with their door, the 2 truck is going to get clear. Does he wait for that 64, or will he leave Jonathan Taylor? He's got to make a decision now down into quarter number 3. It looks like he's trying to hang with Jonathan Taylor, and now he opens up the door, and George Bark back to the inside.
Looking at the telemetry really quick, Carly, we're talking about Brandon Cruz and Joel Wood. They actually just put together a lap that was 0.6 faster than the leader's lap, so they are coming fast.
Down here with George Bark, he's down on the inside. He's still leading this. He's going to lead it at the line. George Bark's still being pushed hard here by Jeremy Crandall. Jeremy Crandall's pushing him strong as he possibly can to keep him out front. Mitchell Reeves and that was close, really close contact there with, it looks like the 73 and the 2 truck just touched quarter panels, but no worse for the wear. Everybody seems to be going in the right direction, thank goodness, because that would have been terrible. That's right up here in the front of the pack, and guess what? That would have been the big one.
And it can get real messy here, guys. 3 wide. The 54 is going to be left out to dry. Brandon Cruz Monsive up top with no assistance at the moment. He'll drop back on that 3rd lane, but we're side by side. This is where things can get real ugly when we're all tightly packed in these large groups. We have trouble. Alan Larson gets turned, the 3 machine, and Alan Larson in quarter 2 on lap 79 for them. 3 truck went low, and that put both that 3 machine and the 9 of Alan Larson into the wall. Alan's going to get the worst end of it. Bob Lutz is that 3 truck. They were trying to work together as they started to lose that lead draft, and in the end, they both get torn up trucks. No caution as neither of them went around. We stay green. The 2 of Mitchell Reeves continues to lead. We'll try to get a replay up for you shortly as it goes live right now. That 2 truck, guys, I don't know how much longer he's going to keep waiting for that 64 until he drops down to the inside, because he's been clear a couple of times. He's holding out hope that Jonathan Taylor can get clear as well, but I can guarantee you in those latter stages, I believe that 2 car is going to have no issues leaving that 64 out to dry, but because he keeps trying to hang on to him, it puts George Bark back to P1.
Yep.
Some connection issues we're hearing for the number 3 machine of Bob Lutz. He comes down pit road right now. Him and Alan Larson again got caught up in that incident. The 3 truck is actually stopped. He has been disqualified. Bob Lutz has been disqualified from race control. So his night going to come to a premature end on that. We're hearing for a connection issue. Oh, we got big trouble towards the tail end of this lead lap. Caution flag going to fly. And a couple trucks involved in that one. It starts with a checkup on the outside lane. The 60 truck is going to be the first one on the brakes. That's going to be Patrick Scotthill. He slows up. The 28 slows up, and it's going to be the 26 truck of Marcus Babb, who did not have enough time to react. He hooks that 28, goes up the track on a hard lick. The 49 truck in it again, just can't catch a break tonight. Scott Saunders, the 95, the 79 in it as well. Looks like the 48 as well. About 5-6 trucks, one of them up on its side. It was Dale Atkins.
Dale Atkins, the 95,
that was doing some two-wheel action on that one.
Two-wheel action. I think he was scraping his face off the pavement. My goodness. Wow, that was...
The replay goes live now, guys, and we're going to group them back up as we approach 15 to go. And it seems that, and this is one of the points that I touched on at the start of the race, is with this race being 101 laps, you're going to see the strategy, but it always ends up as a shootout, a crapshoot at the end. We've seen the strategy. We've seen the pit strategy, the fuel strategy, guys hanging back, moving forward. Guys obviously having some rough nights. A couple of guys I think we've seen in at least 4 incidents, guys just can't catch a break. And at these plate tracks, most of your destiny, a lot of it is out of your control. So it's hard, and it's hard to be able to recover when things just aren't going your way. When it's not your night, it's just not your night. You can't avoid it. We're going to have a restart within 50 to go. I think it's gloves off at this point, guys.
Absolutely.
Well,
I thought that was... Oh, go ahead again. Sorry.
Let's talk a little bit of strategy here now. Stay out or you go in. What would you do? What is your call here? If you're the crew chief, what are you telling your driver?
Track position is everything. You stay out. You look at everybody who's gone to the back of the pack, taking a pit stop, unless they've fallen 15 seconds behind, has found themselves in trouble. So I want the clean air. I want to be in front. If I'm in the back of the pack, then I have nothing to lose, and I might come in for 4 fresh tires to give me that outside line.
20th spot on back, guys, is going to be the first trucks that we see come down pit road. Those guys have nothing to lose.
I'd say from about Brandon Cruz on back, yeah, I would pit if I was a crew chief.
So we had a couple of trucks come in from 20th on back for repairs. We got a couple guys who have run out of their quick fixes and can't afford the time to go in and fix them. So you'll see some beaten and battered trucks out there. And again, it all comes down to the front of it. The 49 truck is done. Scott Saunders, too much damage after being caught up in multiple incidents. His night going to come to a premature ending. So Dominic Dyball, Bob Lutz, the only 2 trucks that have been out of the race to this point. Both of them have been DQ'd. Now Scott Saunders will join them as his truck has too much damage. His night going to come to an end short of what he was hoping. And again, it's this shootout, guys. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way we can predict what's going to happen here.
I was going to say, and let's hope for Scott's case that his next trip here to Daytona in a truck goes a lot better than his night tonight.
Yes, he'll be doing the Capable Truck Series start in in February coming up. Hopefully, we're able to talk to him in some coming Sundays. Get his thoughts on that. But definitely a rough start to the season for him.
You must have watched his teammate there been too many times. Still dizzy from that.
I guess because that. Yep. So the lights are still on the pace car right now, and since I'm rambling on and have no idea what I'm saying, we're going to step away for a final commercial break of the racing action to make it a quick one right here as Alan Larson, he sits behind the pace car, and he hopes to get a wave around as he's stuck 2 laps down. But race leader right now, George Bark, going to be a restart with less than 15 to go, going to step away, and when we come back, we'll find out who's going to be the first person in Victory Lane Season 5 of CORA. LSRTV, don't go anywhere. Back live, guys, under the night. Daytona International Speedway, CORA Championship Online Racing Association, the Sunday Money Series, Season 5. Back in action on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, Paul Coleman in the booth, Laura Lawson in the production hauler. Guys, we're getting set for yet another late race restart. Going to be coming up on lap 87. It's going to be 14 laps to go in this one, which does not leave these guys a lot of time. And if we see a couple of cautions, I'm not going to have any time to try to make some passes. These restarts are going to be very critical, and I think the 2-wide cushion is going to be broken. I think we're going to see a lot of 3-wide. If you want to make a move, you've got to start moving forward now.
Oh, yeah, all the night CDs are done. These guys are done with the single file. You push me, I'll push you a little while. These guys are going for broke now. We are coming down to the last few laps of this race. You're going to see a lot more 3-wide happening than what we've seen here tonight. Matter of fact, I don't think we've seen much 3-wide at all, but that's all about to change.
Well, we're about to find out what happens. It is going to be George Bark and Mitchell Reeves on the front row as we roll out of corner number 4. Pace car, again, gets set to dive down to the safety of pit road. Will it be for the final time, or do we pile him in once again? Pace car down, green flag in the air as well. George Bark hangs back a little bit. He's on the gas pedal in the outside lane. Mitchell Reeves caught sleeping. It is George Bark pulling 6 car lengths on the outside row. Jeremy Crandall going with him on the bottom down into 1.
The only problem with that, though, is he left Jeremy Crandall back there about a truck position and a half. Crandall's going to pull up. No, actually, he's going to pull right back down here on Bark's rear bumper, and he's going to go ahead and push him once again as the number 2 truck of Mitchell Reeves once again makes that outside move, trying to see if he can make it work again. This is being pushed hard by the 64 of Jonathan Taylor.
And that's a huge run. Down the back straightaway, down into corner number 3 goes the leaders. The 2 truck going to get even with the nose of that top lane, but not clear. The inside lane fights back on the inside. It is right now off the corner. The outside lane needs to be hooked up. They need to use as much as the run as they can. And at the start-finish line, Mitchell Reeves is going to have this one. But again, he has continued to stay outside because he does not want to leave his drafting partner of Jonathan Taylor. They're the only ones up on the top side, inside the top 5. More trucks in the pack trying to make the outside lane work. The 24 of Everett Lane, who's had a rough night and has been laps down, is making a resurgence. He's a top 10 truck. He's got help. It's the 8 machine of Martin Porter. They're back around P10.
It looks like Mitchell Reeves is going to try to make it work one more time, and here comes Barks one more time to the inside, strong this time. It looks like they're going to get almost about a half a truck length on him this time past the as we go down the backstretch here. But one more time, they're going to make that strong push as they can down the end of the straightaway. Once they get into the turns, though, it seems like they just kind of slow up. The inside line takes over again, and once again, George Barks is going to lead that lap.
Waiting for the 35 and the 32 to make it 3 wide at some point here. They got the fastest tandem together and need to move on up and create a 3rd lane here to pass 35 and 32.
Well, if this was Talladega, I'd say throw that 24 and 8 truck up into a 4th one because here they come. How about Everett Lane? The resurgence almost complete. He's back up into the mix now. Again, his truck pushing him is the 8 machine. That's Martin Porter, one of the Rue Motorsports machines, as that team has had a rough night. He's helping Everett, and the outside lane has to check up. Look at that, 3 teammates all lined up. It's going to be the 35, the 32, the 47, all in line, in position to pounce. But you got a great tandem up front with George Bark and Jeremy Crandall on the inside. Who can challenge as the 2 of Mitchell Reeves continues to lead the outside charge. We're door to door for 2nd position. The outside going to want to get that run coming off of turn 2. George Bark leads us off the corner, but Mitchell Reeves not giving up. The 64 needs air desperately as Jonathan Taylor sticks the nose out, inside advantage. And 3 wide, look at this. That's not going to work. Oh, big contact. The 32, 24's in the wall. We got trouble now. Back in the pack. Huge wreck. Caution flag will fly. And I said it. That was not going to work. We got big trouble down in corners number 3 and 4. They're still wrecking. The 54 car gets slammed. And under yellow we go after a 3-wide attempt by what appears to be the 00 of James Brown. He went to the middle doing what you have to do. He had help from the 37 machine, and they just caught that 24 machine of Everett Lane. Lane got hooked, and it was a calamity from there as everybody behind him attempted to check up. And it looks like the first truck all the way around may have been the 60. More wrecking up in front of them. I mentioned the Rue Motorsports trucks that had survived to that point. One of them was involved in that as well, and they wrecked for a good couple of seconds. But Garrett Atwell may have been the first truck that actually got turned. I believe it was, as he got ran over by the 51 truck who was behind him, who could not see what was going on in front of him because, Paul, as you said, you got to trust that bump draft. Could not see anything in front of that truck because he was right up on that bumper, and that's how most of these incidents escalate.
Absolutely, and that's why I was alluding to earlier that you definitely want to be the very, very last one in line. Unfortunately, it was go time. Brandon tried that strategy to be the last one in line. He had to move, and unfortunately, he did get run over.
So, Carl, We slow them down once again. I said they were going to have to see 3 wide. That was not what I meant. I thought someone was going to go to the high side. You got to do what you got to do. Went to the middle and it didn't work.
Yeah, I've been watching that replay over and over and over to see if I can see exactly what happened. It looks like it just looks like James Brown just was being pushed really, really hard there by Gordon, and had nowhere else to go. Had to take it up the middle, and it just got too small. There was not enough room to stick that truck in between there, and it was on from there.
And this is what we were expecting once we get down again to these latter stages. The fact that the give and take is pretty much going to be non-existent in comparison to what we saw earlier in the race, where in any other situation, guys, earlier in the race, they would definitely have lifted. But because this was late in the going, nobody was going to be backing off on that throttle, because if you backed out of it, that could have meant the difference between you having a shot at a win and trying to battle all your might for just a top 10. So now we know the gloves are off. We saw it there, and it's a survival of the fittest at this point. You can't call anybody safe. And as we start to close in, I'm going to give you a top 10 rundown. George Bark is currently first position. Crandall is second. Nathan Sedlak in third. Mitchell Reeves in fourth. Fifth place is Jonathan Taylor. Ryan Borges sits right now P6. Don Stevenson in seventh. David Wink in eighth. Ninth position goes to Martin Porter. And Bruce Bouchard in the number 11 truck sits 10th, guys. So my pick for the trip to victory lane's doing all right. Ryan's sitting right now P6. I believe, and again, there are no green-white checkers in the iRacing system. Why? I don't know. But there are no green-white checkers. So if we see a caution within 4 laps or less, this race will end under yellow. So we're working lap 92 right now. Race leader George Bark is racing this thing out essentially to get to lap 97 when he knows if they wreck behind him, it's clean sailing for him, and he'll just have to take that checker and yellow at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you, George Bark has been the strongest truck we've seen so far tonight on that inside lane. It seems like he's been the only driver that's actually been able to keep it up there in the front. It seems like the outside lane is usually the lane that's kind of dominant there, like I said, on them straightaways. But they're just not able to get that push past Barks. Barks is able to go into those turns strong and pull right back up on those guys as they're trying to pass them on the outside. So once again, I think George Barks has one of the best chances of winning this. If he can keep that truck clean, keep it straight, and keep it out of trouble, I think he might be able to take this home.
It's going to be interesting though, because George Bark is starting on the inside road, but his drafting partner is right on the outside of him, and the 35 is starting on the inside, so nobody has got their drafting partner behind them. So it's going to be very interesting to run into turn 1 to see how each driver is able to get back up with their tandem, and to see if we can actually get that all cleanly as well.
We got some questions, and we're going to let you guys know it again. These guys are going to be able to make a trip to the bank. Win on Sunday, go to the bank on Monday for some payouts. Obviously, if you get some solid finishes, you qualify into these races by paying into the qualifiers, you get up here. Person who takes the victory lane is going to get $30. That's a pretty good return on investment. It's not that easy to do it. So if you're, again, doing your Vegas odds, $30 out of, I want to say $6 entry fee to walk away with 30, you got to beat 35 other trucks in tonight's race. But $30 to the winner, $22.50 to second. Third will be about $17.50, $14.50 for fourth. Fifth place gets $12.50, and it drops back on there all the way through 18th position. Going to get some sort of return. 12th place on up will get at least all of the money that they invested into this race paid back to them. And so not only are you battling for the win, every single spot up there in the top 5 coming down to that checkered flag, if they're wrecking, every position you get is going to mean a handful of dollars when it's all said and done, Carl.
Yeah, and don't forget about at the end of the season, the championship money is out there too to be had. There's each classification of cars we run out here. We run the trucks, the B cars, the Gen 6 car. We have an IndyCar, 2 IndyCar races that we're going to be running, and also to lump in there, the super late models will be running this season. Each one of those has their own championship that they also run for money. So yeah, that's one thing that CORA is good for. This is one of the highest paid non-professional leagues out there, and these guys put on a great show week in and week out here. So like I said before, if you're interested in getting into CORA, getting into racing with these guys and running these cars, just go to CORA-racing.com. You can sign up there. You can see the point standings. You can see the money payouts. Just best thing I can tell you, just to hop in there and take a look around, see what you can find. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there, a lot of interesting things about the drivers, a lot of interviews with the drivers. You can get in there and listen to some of the interviews and driver spotlight. It's a great organization. I think you'll really enjoy it if you just take a look around.
Carl, let me ask you this. If you're a driver like Ryan Borges, knowing that second place pays $22.50 and you've been a strong pusher and made a whole lot of friends, would you be comfortable sitting there in second position knowing you're going to capitalize on payday, or would you let the dice roll, try to win, and know you could possibly end up finishing 8th or 9th and not get as good of a payday?
Well, all drivers are looking to win these races. That's obvious. But when it gets to the point where you're sitting there in second place, you got to remember these guys are running for points. You're not going to be able to win these points championships sitting in the pits. So if you're sitting in second place and that's the best you can get, settle with it, push the guy if you can. You got to think of the big picture.
What about you, our Vegas friend? What would you do?
It's that risk versus reward that you have to look at, and the fact that, again, you're going to walk away with X amount of money if you finish here. You're going to walk away with X amount of money if you finish there. I say go for it. I mean, again, you do have 19 races till the chase starts. If you're going to go for it and not care, this is the race because you got the most time to make up that damage, but we're going to find out how this goes. Pace car drops down to pit lane. Back green flag racing the outside lane with a better start. George Barth, the outside gets going as Jeremy Crandall's sleeping on the start of that one, and he'll pull in line up front.
Now we got George Bark out there in the lead, and Jeremy's going to... Big wreck.
Oh, big wreck. Huge wreck down in 1 and 2. The 11 machine is up on his roof. Caution flag gonna fly once again. And we knew it was going to be coming. It was a 3-wide move. The 62 truck going to be the one that initiates that one. And going to get an aim on that truck. The 62 of Michael D'Amico goes to the inside. And not sure if he didn't see the 11 or thought he was clear. But hooks him in the right rear. That spins the 20. And the track was blocked. 62 car, 5 car, the 51, the 48, the 24, the 37, the 28 in that one as well.
The 11 truck almost
01,
getting up
the
into
8,
the catch fence.
54, the 98, the 95. That was a lot of trucks in that one. And
the 11
again, we slow them back down,
was the worst
guys.
out of that.
One more restart to go.
The 11 truck took the worst of that one. Up there into the catch fence goes Bouchard. Bouchard tumbles wildly down the straightaway there and gets it up, like I said, up just about, he was up over the white wall there. That is just, wow.
I know we were in the range of about a dozen trucks, maybe 10 of them total, that are going to get some relatively damaging, but damage to the point where it would affect their truck. And obviously it's Daytona, so this racetrack is the most aero-sensitive of them all. But again, it's that mid-pack area where these drivers are, they can't wait. They know they can't sit in line and wait. They got to make a move quick, try to get down to the lane that's moving. And evidently it's a move that is going to spin somebody and that short. We have one truck slow on the apron, it appears, and it's the 37 machine, Gordon Berkey, and appears that he may have lost that engine as he is rolling very slowly to pit road. Gordon, a lead lap truck, got caught up in that incident, and he's only going 26 miles an hour, guys. He needs to get that to his pit lane, but he'll at least lose a lap because the field rounds around him here through the tri-oval.
You remember what you said about green-white checkers?
The non-existent ones?
Well, this looks like it may be
Two-lap
about a two-lap shootout here, guys.
Yeah, it could be.
Two
We're
laps.
not 97 right now, so the lights are still in the pace car. If we want to get 2 to go, we'll have to go green at lap 100. Lights will have to go off on lap number 99. So we could be seeing not an official green-white checker because it's not overtime, but a 2-lap shootout. We'll call her a green-white checker if it comes down to it. It may be a 3-lap shootout. Remember, if that white flag flies, this whole field could crash and there would not be a yellow. Once that white flag comes out, it's whoever can make it the final 2.5 miles and put her in victory lane.
I don't know if you guys noticed that restart there is something a little bit different by George Barks. He, as the leader, is able to pick what lane he wants, and he decided he was going to take the outside lane that time. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to try that strategy one more time. He took the outside lane, and he got pushed straight out to the lead, so we'll see here come restart whether or not George Barks decides he's going to take the inside or the outside lane.
Depends on his communication with his friend Jeremy Crandall, who's been pushing him all the way. If they're in communication and Jeremy's willing to lay back. However, it's looking like we're going to get a green on lap 100, so this extra one lap that has blown Evans' ADHD out of the water is going to come into play. This one last lap.
So we will see that green-white-checkered, the race to the finish, guys. Once again, my pick's still going to be the 42 George Barks.
I'm holding on the hope for Ryan Borges because, again, the pushing has been phenomenal. But the question is going to be the top 4, I think, you can pretty much count. It's going to be side by side with 2 sets of tandems. The guys behind them are going to have a hell of a run, but they're going to run at a racetrack eventually. It's not Talladega. You can't throw it 4 wide. Well, I mean, you can. If it work or not is a different question, but they're going to be stuck behind a wall of trucks. If this thing gets to the white flag, corner number 4, if we still have a decently sized pack, it's going to be a very interesting final 200 meters down to that checker flag. This time by the start-finish line, we cross. The lights on the pace car are still on. So assuming they go off this next time by, it is going to be a 2 lap to go. As you guys said, not officially, it's not overtime, but it will be a green-white checker, as Carl said, to close out this opening race. I don't think any of the fans are going to complain about a green-white checker. Some of the drivers may be hoping that it ends right now. They'll walk with the money that they got. They do want a shot at the win, but these green-white checkers can get very ugly very quickly. It's going to be fun for us. I can guarantee that much.
Well, being that the question that was just thrown out there is you're not supposed to come down pit road through the stalls. I don't think Gordon was under his own power. I think he was just trying to get it down into his pit stall. Don't see that it's going to make too much of a difference there, being that nobody else was pitting. The main reason for that is to keep the pits open there, so you can see where your pit stall is when you're coming down pit road. They do that under caution there. They try to keep it to the left side of pit road. That way everybody has a chance to see their pit road or their pit stall. That way they can dive down into their pits. But like I said, Gordon was coming down not under power there. He had no motor, so I really don't see where that's going to make too awful much of a difference. Great question, though.
So, guys, green, white checker. Do we make it to the white flag?
No.
Carl?
I don't know.
I want to say yes. I want to say yes because I want to see what happens on that white flag. Because, again, the white flag comes out. There's no finishing the race under the caution flag. They're going for it on the white flag. Unless something crazy happens, race control has to manually throw one. iRacing's not going to give you a yellow once the white flag flies.
No, that's truth. They will not do that.
So, again, the whole field could wreck, and, no, anybody could win it. The lights are off. It's lap 99 of 100. You're watching CORA, Championship Online Racing Association, the Sunday Money Series season opener for Season 5 on LSRTV. And it's going to be a green-white checker to settle who walks away with this one. George Bark will elect to take the outside lane. Do expect him to drop down in front of his teammate, Jeremy Crandall. What happens from there on back, nobody knows. We're going to have to wait and find out as we double up behind the pace car and roll out at corner number 2.
We got 23 cars on the lead lap, or 23 trucks on the lead lap. You said the top 12 make their money back. That's the number one reason why I don't think we're going to make it back one lap. You're going to have too many aggressive trucks way in the back trying to get up to the front. 3 wide, 4 wide, it's just not going to work out.
Well, all I can say is let's strap in, guys, because this is going to be exciting. Sitting on the edge of your seat. Yeah, I see it happen. I told you it's going to be an exciting finish.
And again, every time, you could make this 200 laps, it could be 30 laps, but every time at Daytona, it's going to be a late race restart. That's going to decide it. We'll set up the rows for you. Front row, inside, it's going to be Jeremy Crandall. Outside is George Bark. Bark is the control car. Second lane, third spot, Sedlak. Fourth place is Mitchell Reeves. He'll be on the outside. Jonathan Taylor, 64, going to be starting fifth. That's inside row 3. Outside him, the 32 of Borges. Row 4 inside, the 64 machine. Actually, it's going to be the 47, Don Stevenson. Tim Johnstone outside in 8th. Weston Campbell 9th. Inside row 5, Joel Wood will round out the top 5, or top 10, on the outside of row number 5. We get set to go green. Jeremy Crandall going to hang back as George Bark will lead us to the green flag. The pace car dives down for the final time. Green flag flies at our final restart. 2 laps to go at the start-finish line.
And it looks like Barks is going to do just exactly what you said he was going to do. He's going to drop down here in front of his buddy, the 73 of Jeremy Crandall, see if Jeremy's going to get up here on his back bumper and push. Indeed he is. And now it's going to be exciting to see whether or not that outside line is going to be able to push up here.
We got a spin.
We got a spin.
Huge wreck. Caution flag will fly, and George Bark will walk away with this one. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Back there mid-pack, one truck got turned as they were about 5 rows deep on each other's bumper. It was the 60 truck of Patrick Scotthill who tried to go high, came back down, got turned by Brandon Molsive. The 51 truck nearly blew over. He's up in the fence. The 8, the 19, the 9, the 20, they all pile him in there in turns 1 and 2. And the strategy of riding the back, the strategy of riding on pit road before the race and going essentially one lap down, is going to work as we get that replay coming up for you right now. As long as that 42 machine can make it one more lap under caution, George Bark will get it, the number 1 spot, the safest position, and that looks like that'll be all she wrote.
Yeah, Evan, my heart wanted to see this finish out, but I just knew that with too many people at the back of the pack hungry, mid-pack, we were going to see a wreck.
And it was right by that top 12 position that you were talking about where you're going to make your money back.
That is correct. You anytime you throw money in front of these iRacers, man, they're going to be hungry for that spot. It's wreckers or checkers for 12th.
And to say the least, that's Daytona, that's super speedway racing, that's racing under the lights with $30 up for grabs for the winner. And again, a lot of payouts to the field that CORA is able to provide, and the season opener, it provides the excitement that we were anticipating it to see. Unfortunately, and again, we hoped for it, but we are unable to see a green flag finish, but they went for it. It was that, again, there was 5 trucks pushing. If you have 3 of them bumper to bumper, typically that guy in the middle will get shot in the line. 5 of them all over each other. Nobody lifted off the accelerator for 1 second. And in the end, it's a big pileup in 1 and 2, and now for the final time, the 42 Bark Competition Chevrolet of George Bark will roll through the trioval for the final time. Checkered flag and race win number 1, the WW Trucking Machine. It's going to be George Bark takes home the win at Talladega or Daytona. Jeremy Crandall second, Nathan Sedlak third, guys. A wild finish, not under green flag conditions, but nobody can argue with how exciting that one was, because that was a huge wreck to cap it off.
Yeah, that's a shame for these guys. I know that they wanted to finish this thing under the green flag conditions, but just not to be today. We'll go off next week. These guys will bring them out to Atlanta, see what we can do there. That's going to be a fixed race, however. That's like we said before, this was an open race. The next race will be a fixed race. They will be running. Everybody will be running kind of like the old IROC series. If you guys remember the IROC series back in the day, they'll all be running the same vehicle, same setups. So
they're going to go from open sets to everybody going to be having an even truck moving forward in 1 week's time. And we're going to talk to the top 3, get you set for race number 2 on the CORA season. After the break, we'll step away for the final time post-race show. It'll be coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Back live at the Daytona International Speedway, where race 1 of CORA Season 5 comes to a close, and we'll give you your full field rundown presented by WW Trucking. Top 10 going to be George Bark, Jeremy Crantle, Nathan Sedlak, Jonathan Taylor, Mitchell Reeves, Ryan Borges, Don Stevenson, Tim Johnstone, Joel Wood, and then Weston Campbell, P10.
Down here, caught up with the defending champion and third place finisher, Nathan Sedlak. Nathan, got a copy?
Yes, sir. Got a copy.
All right, we're down here with last year's CORA winner and third place tonight, Nathan Sedlak. Talk about a little bit about your race. You seem to have a teammate who was an excellent pusher in Ryan Borges. You guys were pretty dominant close to the beginning there, and then Bark and Crandall got up there, and you weren't able to show your muscle as you had before. Talk about your race.
Yeah, it's a good race overall. I enjoyed the evening here. It was pretty intense racing for sure. It's fun working with Ryan down there. It's the first time we've actually gotten together this season. He's a new teammate with Storm, so it was good to run with him and everything. But I just wanted to stay up front all night. It was tough. You get boxed in down there in the bottom, and you kind of got to go around the two in the front of you. But if there's two to tag on to, it's going to be those two to my left here, because they're really something, and what they can do by themselves. If you watch them at practice, it's pretty amazing. So. Like I said, if there's two to attach onto, that's where you go. And I'll take a top 3, get the season started off on the right foot, and we'll go from here.
That was good. Consistency. What was your plans? I know we were going to have a green-white-checker, but around 13th place, there was an accident. What was your plans there, or what was in your mindset going to the final 2 laps?
The team, we were all kind of broken up. Guys got picked off in some wrecks back there and stuff. So I was a little worried. There was 4 guys around me that had been working together the whole time, and I was the odd man out. So, I was just holding on, and I was hoping I could stay right there up against Jeremy and, take that position. I really wasn't going to be able to do much without much help behind me, but I was unsure of what the 2 guys around me were going to do. So, fortunately, they, stayed in line there and helped push a little bit, but caution came back out, and we ended up 3rd.
That's good. Good way to start your championship defending year. We're going to throw it to, it's definitely better to be good and lucky. We're going to send it over to Carl, who's caught up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, we caught up here with Jeremy Crandall. Jeremy, great race today. Way to go, man. Did you think you had to win for that with that one there, or did you just have plans on going ahead and pushing the 42 George Barks into the win?
All I can say is George Bark. He's a sponsor on this truck, sponsoring me on the real side. So a win for him is a win for me. It was a heck of a race all the way through the field. A lot of fun racing with these guys. A really fast truck. So I can't say enough about George Bark. Bark competition on the truck here.
So what was the strategy there? We seen you and Bark decide to change lanes there. George decided he was going to go to the outside. Did you guys have any kind of a strategy there on what you were trying to do? You were trying to hold back those other guys behind you there, or did you pretty much know that you had this win? And second place.
We were pretty confident. He was just trying to time his start right, and I said George pretty much made all the calls for us this whole race. Let him kind of take the reins and followed his direction, and it got us up here, and it paid off.
A lot of cautions out there tonight. What was the best way to keep yourself out of trouble? What were you doing out there? What did you see out there, and how were you able to keep yourself out of trouble when you guys were running around there towards the middle of the pack?
Just trying to give everybody as much room as we could. Did a whole lot of giving first half, 3/4 of the race. Just gave and gave and gave and gave, and for about the time it was time to take, and we took, and it paid out at the end.
Well, Jeremy, you came home second place in CORA's first race of season 5. You have anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I think definitely thank George Bark and Bark Competition for helping me get in this and do this with us, and CORA and the guys putting this stuff on. It's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to an exciting season.
That's Jeremy Crandall in the Barks Competition karting. Truck number 73, bringing it home second here at Daytona Motor Speedway. I believe Evan Pasoko has caught up with the winner.
And we're down in Gatorade Victory Lane, and race one going to go to the 42. Mr. George Bark in Victory Lane. George, you guys ran that back strategy. You hung out. It was time to go at about 30, 40 laps left in it, and you just made that dominant outside lane work. You're able to get up to the front. Walk us through how your night went and how you were able to put this Chevy in Victory Lane.
What's up, Evan? Yeah, we kind of tiptoed the whole race. You know, we just played it safe. Pretty much laid it out right there. You know, we went when I felt like when we had to go. You know, Jeremy was great. He put up with all my moaning and arguing back and forth, but you know, he's the man. You know, for putting up with me tonight. If I didn't have him tonight, I would never have been able to take home this win.
You chose the outside lane there. What were you thinking coming those final 2 laps?
The outside worked out great. You know, the leader would have to go first, and then, you know, usually, you know, if Jeremy beat me to the line, he'd get a flag. So it just ended up working out great. You know, it's just, you know, it hit me in the head like a light bulb. I'm like, hey, I'll just start outside. You know, I'm pretty sure it's a rule, and that's really what really helped me get the win here tonight, especially dragging Jeremy to the second place with me.
A trip to Victory Lane is always the preferred method of getting your season kicked off in the best manner. 1 week's time, George, it's going to be fixed setups over at Atlanta Motor Speedway. How confident are you rolling into that one?
Gotta practice. You know, we'll see. That gonna be a lot more closer. Everyone will be more equal. Maybe strategy will play a role here a little bit more next week at Atlanta. I believe it's Atlanta. So we'll see what we got.
All right, well, before we let you go, sponsor shout-outs again. Who makes it happen for you and the team?
You know, Jeremy Crandall, Gary Bauer, Jay Anderson, Steve Hendren. We all have a lot of time into our super speedway setups, and it paid off here tonight. Qualifying was a wash. Jeremy kind of both wasted, but we had a plan to start in the pits anyway, so we weren't too much worried. But those are my people. That's my team, and I gotta thank them all.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on the win there, George, and hoping that you can get some more solid finishes, maybe a couple more wins here moving forward.
Yeah, I hope so, Evan. Thanks, man.
So, guys, that is your race winner. George Bark takes home race win number 1 on the season. And, Carl, you've caught up with James Brown, the CEO with CORA.
Yeah, I caught up here with James Brown. James, congratulations on coming in here to season 5. You guys have really done a great job this season getting everybody out here and ready to go. You want to tell us a little bit about your race tonight?
Well, it wasn't what we had planned. We had a strategy. We tried to get my teammate Gordon and I together, and once we finally got together, we had that run up the middle, and I mean, there's plenty of room there. We called our run, and well, as you saw what happened, it closed up on us, and but we weren't going anywhere. We were where we were at. It was go time, and well, ended up back where I did. I'm pretty happy with my finish from after something like that. So, looking at the big picture, Sunday Money is back, and I am just more excited about running the show here and with my staff, Gordon and Kevin and Terry and Alan and Teresa, and I just have a ball running this, guys. And thanks to the tower, Carl, and the couple of new gentlemen up there that I haven't had the pleasure to meet, and Laura, LSRTV, and all the drivers, just thank you. And here we go for season 5.
Well, James, we have like you said, we touched on here season 5. What was your vision back when you first started out doing CORA? What was your vision? Did you see it getting this big?
Well, I'd say that's a kind of a double-edged sword, because our vision is far from where we're at right now, and each season we get a little step closer. But as far as setting goals, I am not going to limit myself to setting goals.
Anybody, any shout-outs you want to give tonight, James?
Oh, other than the congratulations to the top three up there, Nathan, Jeremy, and George. Good job, guys. Thought it was a pretty good race. Special thanks to WW Trucking out of Sandwich, Illinois for sponsoring tonight's race. And I'm just so pumped and hyped for this season 5, guys, and I'm ready to go to Atlanta.
And that's the 00 James Brown, the CEO of CORA. We're going to throw it back up here to you now, Evan.
And it was an exciting one, to say the least, because again, after 101 laps, it came down to a virtual green-white checker. Again, no overtime was required, but it was definitely an exciting one, and it was a good way to get the season kicked off. A lot of great racing, a lot of, highlight reel crashes, a lot of big ones, but a lot of great racing, a lot of side-by-side action, and also it had that strategy element. The guys starting in the pits, the different fuel strategies, different tandems, working up and through the field, and it's always one of the best parts that you see about CORA is all the strategy that goes into it. Again, CORA-racing.com. You could be out on the racetrack next week. Round number 2 is going to be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But before we step away, I want to get everybody's closing thoughts up here in the broadcast booth. Start with you, Paul.
Well, this was my very, very first race with CORA, and I have to say I was very pleased. Amazing competition, lots of great driving, lots of excitement, and I cannot wait to see these guys come back, race next week at Atlanta. It should be a lot of fun.
And Carl, yourself?
Oh, what can you say? This is Daytona, and this is CORA. You got an epic racetrack with an epic group of people driving. It was a lot of fun. It was everything that I said it was going to be and more. These guys did a terrific job. Each and every week, James Brown, like I said, he puts this out there for these drivers, and they come out here and they never disappoint. They do a great job.
Like we said, that does it as race number 1 is in the books. Again, 101 laps of side-by-side beat and bang and racing. It is George Bark who comes from the back in a strategy call with his teammate. Him and Jeremy Crandall will take the top 2 spots, and last season's champion rounds out our podium as Nathan Sedlak will get a top 3 finish. That does it for tonight. On behalf of everybody here at LSRTV and with CORA, executive producer Laura Lawson, down in the production hall, pushing the buttons and getting us on air, for Carl Jones and Paul Coleman for joining me up at a broadcast booth. My name is Evan Poselko. Thank you for tuning in. Race 2 going to be 1 week's time. We'll see you then at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.